Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Fool of a took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Lore podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Tony, and I've got two guests with me. So, this is the classic One Piece corner. So it's just me, Paul, Joe. The boys are back at it. So, friends of the pod, family at this point, right? So I don't know if we need to do any introductions, but of course, now you recognize Paul's voice. So, Paul, you want to say who you are?
Yeah, you missed me, you love me. I'm Paul, Tony's cousin, Mark's brother.
Nice.
Yeah, Joe, happy to be back. This is maybe the fourth one of these that I've done now.
Fifth installment,
so,
something.
I mean, just keep coming until they tell me not to.
Exactly. At this point, you're on payroll. You know what I mean? That's that's what's happening. There is no payroll, just to be very clear. But if we get sponsors, hi Dan. But so, without further ado, this is coming off the bat of the Convert episode, and when we finished recording that, Paul and Joe looked at me and they said, it'd be really cool I guess this is our second, technically you guys had your original One Piece, which you're going over generally the universe of One Piece. Then we had the actual One Piece corner where this is me watching through it. So for all intents and purposes, this is our third One Piece episode, but two corners, if that makes sense. Sorry, just for logistics. But at the end of that corner episode, you guys were like, hey, if you can get to the time skip, episode 522, you got this. And I was like, I've got Peter and, my time is so tight and everything. Needless to say, boys, I'm well past 522 right now. I've hauled, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I did my homework. So I will say that I am caught up to where you guys are. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the notes. I'm just here to, basically be saying my experience and what's going on from there. So, but you guys got the notes, so what are we talking about today,
and
boys?
Let's not gloss over the fact he said 522. That is 522 episodes.
Let me check out what
Crazy.
Official. Let me check out officially where I'm at. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty darn close, but I'm like 530. But yeah, I'll check that as you guys keep going.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll counts over.
Well, right now there's over 1,050 plus episodes out at the moment. At least there should be.
Yeah, I'm on 534.
Yeah, he's halfway there.
I'm halfway there. Dude, speaking of halfway, sorry, in other One Piece news, you say we're still developing episodes. I don't know if you guys had this in your notes, but I do want to say it. Do you guys see all the whole, in order to, it's a celebration of 60 million copies sold of the manga?
Yeah,
he
left
went to a, unmarked, area in the ocean and essentially wrote on a piece of paper or something and then buried it in a treasure chest and put it at the bottom of the ocean. And there's already like the Reddit, investigators are like, based on the angle of the sun and whatever, it's like they're already like finding where it is. No land on the horizon. And it's like
there's a Japanese Coast Guard too, so they're like doing the ship numbers, and of course, you get into some problem areas of like that much calculation, but they have it down within like a 500 kilometer like square, which is like insane.
But they're gonna have to, if they really want to find that thing, it's gonna take some time and money.
I like how they're like, dude, if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be One Piece fans.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Sorry.
What
I was gonna say, what I love the flip side of it is, if someone does find it, there's a bunch of memes. There was a filler episode in particular with Luffy. He actually gets the log pose to the last island on the Grand Line, and he breaks it, and he's like, I'm not taking a shortcut or whatever. There's a lot of memes of if we find this, that they're gonna burn destroy it.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna read it.
Because I was gonna say I saw those memes too, but I didn't know that episode, so I didn't know that one coming up. But the one I did see was the fact that Rayleigh was sitting down with Robin and was like, "Hey, by the way, I could tell you a lot what's going on," and then they're like, "Nah, we'll find out on our own." So, I was like, oh, okay. So there's a little bit of that going on. But so there's my One Piece news, telling you guys I did my homework. What else do you want, teachers? You know what I mean? I'm good to go. What's my next assignment?
Thoroughly impressed with the progress that you've made through the show. It is no small task or feat to watch 522 episodes of anything, let alone 30-minute cartoon that was made 25 years ago. So hats off to you for sticking to it.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good. I never thought I'd be smitten this hard. And I do want to talk about it. I'm like, man, I was telling Mark, I'm like, I think I'm in my golden age, and it happened right before 30 for me, and it's kind of perfect because, like, I'm absolutely smitten by One Piece. Through and through. I think about it so much. And then Warhammer. Joe, you're in the Warhammer stuff. We'll probably bring you back on for another conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny to me because I'm like, I'm in another golden age of my life. It's crazy, content-wise.
It's the 30-year-old renaissance.
Oh, man.
That's what it is.
And I'm glad it's One Piece and Warhammer. The two, I was like, these are two drugs I don't know if I can touch, man. But here I am in an underpass shooting those bad Johnnies up and no regrets.
It's just the red pill and the blue pill, and you took both.
Exactly. Let's make it purple, brother. He's beginning to believe. But, yeah, no. So what's up, boys? What's going on today?
So where we left off at the end of the first corner, Tony was just at Water 7. They were, I think, about to board the train to go to Ennie's lobby to go. Is it a rescue at that point? I can't quite remember.
It was a rescue.
Yeah, them try and rescue Robin from CP9.
Yeah, they didn't know yet of anything, backgrounds or anything. They just knew of, hey, Robin is getting taken. And leaving.
All they knew, because at the time there was speculation that Robin was working with CP9, and Tony mentioned that.
Tony
it was
tinfoil
both
hat
sides.
pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was both sides. Tony was speculating, and also Iceberg was speculating the same thing because she shot him, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just, let me defend myself here. Now that I know how silly it sounds. But in the moment, you're right, because, like, no joke, yeah, she shoots Iceberg. And then this all started because they came in and they, like, CP9 whispered to her and just said CP9. And I was like, what? Who would ever, like, is she a double agent?
Like sleeper agent almost.
Yeah.
I
thought it was like a Blueberry thing, you know what I mean? Don't say Blueberry waffles in front of her. She's going to go, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So I assumed it was more that. And turns out, no, it's not. So.
Well, Tony, would you like to explain, at least for the listeners, I guess, what the relationship is between CP9 and Robin?
Yeah. So actually, really quick, just so we're above board, hey, there's going to be some spoilers. We're probably going to hit, like I said, Water 7, potentially all the way to the time skip, which is Battle of the Best, Marine Ford. I think it's the actual...
Yeah, right after the Summit War arc, ending with Marine Ford,
Yeah, going into Fishman Island now I'm thinking about it. So I think the current arc is Fishman Island.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. No, but was saying that, so Robin's background, very tragic, and it's very wild to see the jump of where I went from, oh my gosh, she's a double agent, to, pardon my French, but fuck those guys. You know what I mean? It's like, what? This is crazy. But the background is that she was, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her hometown now, her home island. O'Hara, thank you. I should remember the Clover guy. He's pretty rad.
Clover, that's his name.
Yeah, Clover, yeah.
Crazy.
But no, the whole shtick was the fact that her family and friends all on this island have this grand tree that they were kind of in and studying around, but it had a bunch of knowledge. And they were kind of like the keeper of the keys, keeper of the knowledge. And they were going about, and they're all about this, not astrology, archaeology. They're all archaeologists. And Robin wants to be like her mom. So therefore, she starts learning these things. But she doesn't realize that there's a little bit this forbidden knowledge. Now, the overall island is kind of going into this whole of, hey, we have to keep all knowledge. And the world government is very much not that way. So there's a little bit of these, the actual writing, are they called poneglyphs at that point?
Or is that poneglyphs, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
But then what are the actual...
The letters?
Yeah, like the hieroglyphics?
I don't think there's a name for them that I can remember.
Either way.
Just transcriptions?
Transcriptions of poneglyphs or something?
The poneglyph letters, like the language. Do you know what it's called? Because I don't think it has a name.
No, I don't. I think it's unnamed is the whole point. Yeah, so what Tony's kind of explaining with the library, it's like, think of in Harry Potter, you have the library and you have like the restricted section, or like Game of Thrones also has like a restricted section in there where their meisters go and learn. Essentially, the people at O'Hara want to learn about what's in the restricted section, and the world government is like, no, you don't even get to have this information. Yep. You can do anything else. So it's kind of like a secret operation in which they're learning it, but then the world government ultimately discovers that they've been looking into it and researching, which is just a big no-no, big taboo for them.
Yeah, so I forget if we mentioned this in the 101 corner, but poneglyphs, I mean, Robin's been looking for them forever because of her childhood in O'Hara.
Yeah.
Right? They were studying that. But poneglyphs hold history of what happened like 800 years ago in what's called the Void Century. No one knows what happened there. Mainly because the government, as we learn, has been cracking down on any information in that period, so no one learns anything. And they don't go after people who have copies of poneglyphs because no one can read it, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And they're everywhere, right? They can't really control that. But they learn that O'Hara has cracked the code and can read it. And keep in mind, to our knowledge, the world government also can't read these things, right? To our knowledge.
Correct.
So when they learn O'Hara can read it, they're like, okay, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And Tony, take it away from there.
Yeah, no, and so exactly that. So they can't read that, and they're like, well, we're going to basically muster up all of our forces into what's called a buster call. And it's a very big deal. When there's a buster call inside of a golden snail transponder, golden snail transponder, what is that called? The snail transponder?
Yeah.
The transponders?
Yeah.
And so it's a very big deal. Only like such a high level can even call a buster
Only
call.
the admirals can call it officially.
Yeah, but this is a sub-admiral who has it. It was gifted to him or whatever.
By an admiral.
Yeah, by an
It
admiral.
was like, hey, this is my permission for you to call it once.
On behalf. Yeah. And lo and behold, here it is. So they're then wanting to go to O'Hara, and they discover this, and they're like, hey, we're just going to take all this knowledge. And that's when Clover and the boys are like, no way, we're going to preserve this as best we can. And then that's when there's a little bit of fight breaks out, and they end up calling the buster call. And it's a very big deal because what ends up happening is they bring up like 6+ fleet ships, and they just wipe out the entire island. So much so that no one's left alive. And it's a very big deal because like buster calls like the end all be all. Lo and behold, the one person who can read the poneglyphs, which was Robin, she gets spared, through Al-Kiji and all that other fun stuff. But they end up getting spared, but now she's one like Harry Potter, so she's the only one who's ever survived a buster call to tell the tale. And two, she's the most dangerous one because she does know how to read it. And so that's where all this CP9 relationship happens, is because now the world government is chasing her. So at like 8 years old, she had like an $80 million bounty on her because it was such a big deal that she knew how to read these, and escaped the buster call. So they're really curious to see what's going on with whether it's powers or everything like that. That's what it alludes to. Everyone thinks she's very powerful and she's a devil, right? They keep calling her like the devil girl and everything.
Devil child.
Devil child. But in the end of the day, it's literally like she just has forbidden knowledge. And so it shows how scared the world government is that this information can and will get out.
Yeah.
And so now, so she's not a secret agent.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I mean, and that's why Crocodile in the Alabasta arc took her under his wing, because he knew she could read these things, right? And that was his goal in Alabasta, is to read one of the poneglyphs.
Yeah, and the fact that she knew that if she was with him, there's a lot of connection there, because one, he's a warlord.
Yep.
Two, you know what I mean? If you get high enough in those ranks, like, there's some pretty powerful people that she felt like she was comfortable.
She had been essentially on the run, fending for herself, because as soon as anyone were to find her identity or see her wanted poster, people were, attacking her, trying to kill her, turn her in. Yep. So she had been on the run for so long. And then finally, when she met Crocodile, who was the warlord at the time, he kind of provided an umbrella. Now, he took her into his service to, ultimately he wanted to, I think it was his plan. I think he knew that there was a poneglyph at Alabasta.
Yep.
So that was essentially why he brought her in, so that she could read it and tell him, because he knew that it told of one of the ancient weapons, Pluton.
Yep.
So that's what he wanted. And then I can't remember, did he stab her when she lied to him?
Yeah, so she read the poneglyph incorrectly, because Robin's, she's a good person, but she's been forced to do all this to survive. She told him incorrect information. He knew she was lying, or knew if she did it, he's like, okay, it's not there, and I'm doing air quotes, so what do I need you for anymore? So he stabbed her to kill her.
Yep.
Right, and then Luffy saved her.
Correct.
And then the friendship.
Yeah.
The bond.
And speaking of that too, Robin's been on a run her entire life. CP9's been on her trail for this entire time, but she always escapes.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh yeah.
But for the Straw Hats, they come up to her and say, CP9. She's like, hey, we're CP9. And they threaten her. It's like, hey, if you don't come with us, we're just going to kill all the Straw Hats. And she could have escaped. Like she always has.
Yeah.
But she's like, okay, you finally got me. Whatever. And
I'll do anything to protect my friends.
and
Because
that's
now
how
she finally has friends.
Yep, and that's how she did listen to what they told her to do and then left on the C train
Yeah.
to be arrested.
And honestly, it was just such a cool scene. Like the fact that you're seeing them and the Straw Hats aren't giving up on her. And I think that's what makes it so much harder for her. It's because she's like, can't you see I'm literally sacrificing myself for you guys? And they're like, we didn't ask you to do that. Instead, we're just going to literally take up against the whole world government.
Yeah, and that's one of the most powerful scenes in the show, especially at least up to that point, but really throughout the whole show. Is it's so cool when Sniper King,
Soge King,
where's Sniper Island, boys? It's in your heart.
It's in your hearts. Luffy orders him to essentially shoot Fireball at the Marine flag, at the top of the base.
the world government flag, actually.
Yeah, correct. Yes, the world government flag. And then he does that, and then afterwards, Luffy says, Robin, I still haven't heard you say it. Say I want to live, because this whole time she's just been saying to herself, I want to die, I want to die.
Yeah.
And the Straw Hats don't know, I want to die to protect you guys, so they don't come after you. But, we don't care who comes after us. We want to save you. So
yeah, it's also a big deal because little do the Straw Hats know, but the one guy who originally called the Buster Call is still there. One. Number two, he's threatening to call a Buster Call on Ennis Lobby, and they have to do it, which is crazier. It was just even crazier.
Well, it was. I don't know if he threatened to call it on Ennis Lobby. He was just being an idiot with his.
Oh no, he had it. Well, he was threatening Rob, and he's like, "I'll just," you know what I mean?
But he never was.
Yeah, he was never going to.
He was never going to. But he accidentally hit that button.
Yeah.
And at that point, he's like, "Well, crap."
Yeah, and it was just funny to think back at that time period because it was just she knew what was happening and once again wanted to protect them and was like, I'm willing to kill myself for all this, please. And then that's why it's so powerful what Joe was saying. It's no, Luffy just wanted her to hear, I want to live. So just for time's sake, and we can keep moving forward, one, unbelievable. I really like that arc. Honestly, Ennis Lobby, when you guys were saying it was gas, straight gas. I mean, it's crazy.
Nothing but.
And the crazy thing is, I thought back to it while I was watching it, is one, when you guys were telling me, remember we were talking about the devil fruits in the introduction to One Piece. Let's call that the intro, and then corner 1 and corner 2, whatever. But so in the introduction episode, you guys were like, inanimate objects can eat devil fruits. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? This doesn't make any sense. And then his sword, I can't remember what the guy's name is.
Spandam is
Spandam or whatever.
Spandam.
Yeah.
But yeah, his sword eats
the elephant
fruit.
Probably nothing but Zoan fruits with them.
That's because that's the only one they can have them eat.
Oh, okay.
Again, Zoan fruits. This is a small spoiler.
But
I already said it in 101 episode. But Zoan fruits are the only acknowledged fruits to have a will with them. Right? And then we already talked about when Mark was there, but it's not like you have a voice in the back of your head telling you what to do. It's just it's almost like a collective will in the fruit. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Kind of like Avatar. You got the will of the last 400 avatars kind of whispering in your ear hey, maybe you should protect the Earth Nation.
Yeah. So we'll keep moving past because I'll be honest, I don't remember everything of that 101 episode, and it's probably good that I forget some of those things. But with that being said, so that was a big one. Other big highlight for me, at least in my head, was the fact that Luffy goes to Gear 2.
Gear 2?
So
against Rob Lucci, dude, that guy was asking for it, brother.
Let's pump the brakes real quick, right? So to put it into context,
am I going too quick?
No, you're not. I just want to leave this behind. To put it into context, Robin, she gets arrested on the sea train, gets taken away. Luffy and crew follow, right? It's huge because Ennis Lobby is one of the 3 main government locations, right? And they're all in a kind of a triangle, whatever. But it's Ennis Lobby's, Impel Down, and then Marine Headquarters.
Yeah.
They're almost never ever attacked or touched, right?
Well, there's the still sea. That's the other thing too. You literally have to open the doors in order for current to flow through.
The moment you're on the current, you're stuck and you're going to be going to those locations unless the government lets you leave otherwise, essentially.
Yeah.
But they go to Ennis Lobbies, which hasn't been attacked forever. It's essentially a way station. It's like a courthouse, essentially, on steroids with a bunch of guards. And they go in and they steam through fighting all the way through until Luffy, as Tony was about to say, starts fighting the big bads, CP9.
Uh-huh.
And Tony...
Dude, freaking Rex Bluno.
Rex Bluno with Gear 2.
Yeah.
Which is essentially Luffy's
just overpowered,
with
overspeed.
his fruit, right? He's starting to use his fruit more appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
How we mentioned before, how fruits can start to be used more and more better. And then he comes up with Gear 2 and Gear 3.
Yeah.
So, Tony, what's your thoughts on those?
Gear 2 is the best. I love Gear 2. I love the way it looks. I love the fact that, as he goes in that position, his legs just go boom. And he's basically, they're he's just forcing his blood through his body at an ungodly pressure. And he's good to go. I think that was crazy. And later on, I do want to talk about it. We're not talking about it now, but when Kuma takes all the pain that Luffy experienced and gives Zoro a 10 of it, it's oh my gosh, you don't realize he's physically hurting himself in order to be on Gear 2, which is crazy. Gear 3, it's fun. It's a fun idea, but it's just one of those things where it's just he basically overcharges one part of his body, blows it all the way up, and then the inverse effect, it's a very powerful hit. The problem is the fact that then he becomes small after he uses it. Yeah. It's almost like he just compresses himself. And it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's just starting to see this fight happen where CP9 to date has been the most powerful adversaries that the Straw Hats have seen. They've got these speed powers and this iron body and all this other stuff. And it's how are they going to get past it? What's going on? And here's Luffy going into Gear 2 and 3, respectively, and eliminating the targets.
In order to match that, really, because they got their butts whooped by CP9, and Luffy, as being a battle master as he is, even though he's also pretty stupid most of the occasions, but whatever. Yeah. He's how can I almost mimic this? And that's how Gear 2 started, because I forget what their technique is called, but the one that would move really fast.
Shave.
Is
Luffy,
it shave? Okay.
He's okay, how do I do that exact same thing? Because he sees them doing it, but his body can't match that physical levels. So he pumps his blood super fast and overdrives his body.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get lost in how cool was this arc for Robin, for Luffy. Let's not forget we've got Chopper, who we get to see when he does all three of his gumballs. He does monster form.
Yeah, what's that called? He does all
it's
this.
It's demon form, really.
He's loses
he's past
control.
his point. Yeah.
We get to see Sanji and when he makes his leg really hot.
The Jam Flambe or something.
Yeah, Jam Flambe, something like that. They're always cooking French cooking terms, which is so funny.
I do love that.
And then Zoro, we just get to see more badassery from Zoro.
Oh my gosh, him facing the draft guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah. Well, one of the best parts was
Square Nose Usopp is what I always said.
At some point, Usopp or Shoge King will
Sniper King, but it's Sniper King. Well, explain what it's unexplained.
Well, so
you just said you're going to explain the One Piece.
Well, I will explain who Shoge King is. It could have been
Whitebeard. There's theories that it was Whitebeard.
It could be Arlong.
So for the listeners,
I like Arlong, that thing.
Luffy and the crew went to Water 7 because the Going Merry, their ship, was structurally damaged and they wanted to fix it.
They wanted a shipwright. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was stated that Going Merry is shot. Basically, the keel is broken, which is the first part they build the ship with. And in order to fix it, they're going to have to take the whole ship apart, right? So it's that whole classic conundrum,
ship of Theseus,
right? Is it the same ship? So they're going to get rid of it. Usopp, being a present from that one girl he really liked in whatever village, was nah, fam, we're not doing this. So Luffy and Usopp had a little fight.
Minor
Usopp
altercation.
Left the crew. Okay, very sad.
But it's very big for pirates. This is a
big.
big deal. The second you turn your back on your captain,
yep,
there's nothing that anyone else can do. Zoro was very clear on that.
But then the whole thing with Robin happened. Usopp, is nowhere to be found. But there's this other
Usopp's
character,
friend.
Usopp's friend, who is sent by Usopp named Soge King,
Sniper King. Yep.
which is Sniper King from Sniper Island, which is located in your heart.
Thank you.
There's a whole song actually about it.
I love it so much. I listen to it while I work out.
But he joins the crew to get Robin back. So that is Soge King. But what was I talking about before in Zoro's fight, super funny because Soge King and Zoro get shackled together. So Zoro picks up Soge King as a sword. And Soge King is holding his sword. And he fights with that.
That comedically was, I think, Zoro's top comedy moment, where he was literally like, we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. He's like, why? To figure out whose hand we're going to cut off. And he's like so serious about it. No, we are not going to do that. Oh my dude, I forgot about that. I love Soge King, dude. Sniper King, but yeah. So we keep saying Soge King, Sniper King. So Soge King is the subbed version.
Correct.
Sniper King is the official dub version.
Correct.
So, but yeah, it just made me chuckle so much when he gets all serious, and then, but he keeps revisiting it because they're like, we're gonna try this, we're gonna try this. He's like, it's not working. It's like, we just gotta figure out whose hand to cut off. You know, it's like, so I just love the whole scene between them two. And then Nami gets her big comeuppance as well against the bubble fruit.
Yeah. She is good in that fight, right?
Yeah.
Better than she has this entire time. Because Nami's not a huge fighter, but she pulls through.
It's finally 1-on-1. So we're starting to see the crew members kind of grow in their skill set.
They're being challenged.
Luffy seems like he's the one kind of doing well and overcoming it, and the other seems to kind of keep that pace with the enemy. I just wish that one guy was still alive, so then Luffy could punch him and figure out what the power level is. You know?
Yeah.
Because it's the only time they brought it up. It's like midichlorians. It's like, what the heck?
It was so out of left field when they brought that up, because it was like,
they never bring it up again.
yeah,
Literally,
never bring it up again. But it's like, oh man, like, wouldn't it be nice if there was like some, you know, filler arc where it's just this guy going like, you know, to all these islands and like posing as like, you know, a carnival game, like punch this and win a prize.
Yeah.
And then they get like, you know, Whitebeard up there, or Shanks up there, and you just get all these heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And like, inevitably someone's going to kill the guy.
Yeah, I was
but,
gonna say, he's gonna
No,
die.
I mean, come on.
but like, we would just love for that like quantitative like analysis of like how strong these guys actually are. And it doesn't even matter the numbers, it just matters in relation to other characters.
I just want to know, because like, what level is this just raw power versus like the friends that they have or the crew that they have, like, or is it devil fruit only? And what's the difference between this and that, or hockey versus not? You know what I mean? So I'd be really curious to see all those stats. But, that was just an awesome arc. So I think we're at the point of, let's just call it where, you know, Luffy's Buster Call happens.
Yep.
Right? So, Spondent is dumb, accidentally presses the button.
An idiot, yes.
At Ennis Lobby. Not good. And you would think, oh my gosh, surely when a Buster Call is called on their own property, they'd like double check it. The answer is no. They just all out attack. There's no question.
No
This
questions.
is literally shoot and go, you know. And next thing you know, Ennis Lobby is getting torn to the ground.
Yep.
And this is where, you know, all's kind of lost because here's Luffy and Rob Lucci, and he's kind of at the point where, like, I'm dying on this thing no matter what. Like, we've saved Robin. I've done my part. I need to take out you. And basically, Luffy pushes himself to the limit. So much so that he does third gear, takes out Rob Lucci. Now he's there, and he's so exhausted he physically can't move anymore.
Correct.
And the gun shells are going. All this is happening. They don't know what's going on. And it almost brings a tear to your eye.
Some unnamed soldier with the rust fruit just casually like disintegrates one or two of Zoro's swords.
It's one. It's one of them. Yeah.
Okay, it's like, oh my god! Like, everyone is just taking L's after the victory over CP9.
Because you think they're now good. They freed Robin. And probably Frankie's in here the whole time. Let's bring that up. You know, Frankie has the, not Pluton, whatever plans is the ship.
Pluton plans the ship.
Is that Pluton?
Yeah.
So then what was the first one? Neptune? Because they're different. I thought they were different. The poneglyph that you saw at
Pluton.
Alabasta.
Because that's the existing Pluton. Frankie has the plans for it when it was made, right? So it's out there somewhere, but Frankie also has the plans.
So the same subject matter on both of those. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I thought it was something else. So, cool. But yeah, the plans for Pluton, the ship, you know, very important. And at some point, you know, he was just like, I'm going to burn these plans up. Boom, done. You know what I mean? Now the plans are kind of up in ash. So, plans are gone. Frankie's still with the crew. Crew's getting taken L's left and right. Luffy can barely walk. Sniper King's trying to, inspire Luffy to get out of there because he's in the blast zone. And, he's telling him to get up and everything. And right when all seems lost, the Going Merry comes out of nowhere. Now, for context, Going Merry was at Water 7.
Yep, cut back.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut back. I forgot to bring up these points. But yeah, so Going Merry is at Water 7. At some point, CP9 figures out that, hey, this Going Merry's over there. They kind of have a spat with Sniper King and the boys. And, or I guess it was Usopp at that point, allegedly. And then, but yeah, so there's this big overall tidal wave that's happening. And they're kind of locking down the hatches of Water 7. That's what kind of the big deal of Water 7 is literally like a city that they keep building on each other because basically like the water level just keeps on rising. So the waters, this storm is happening. They're trying to batten down the hatches. They then decide, hey, you know what I mean? We got to take out all this stuff. But just at that moment, that's when someone, I think it was CP9, right?
CP9 runs into Usopp.
Wants to figure it out. They then cut out the Going Merry, and they send her out to the storm. So for all intents and purposes, everyone's like, dude, the ship's dead. Not good at all.
Yep.
Just on this storms talk, let's just finish really quick on the storm talk.
Sure.
It's important to note that this is another dream that is almost successful because Sanji's dream to find the All Blue, where all 4 ocean biomes are in one, is kind of realized. The fact that this tidal wave took salt from all 4 oceans and had it sitting on top of all these roofs that then would dry out, and because he has this amazing cooking from this like street vendor, and he's like, you have to tell me how you make this, and the guy's like, hey, how about you make it and you tell me what's different. So Sanji tries to make it with his own ingredients, and we're like, I followed you down to the T, and it's not the same. Turns out it was all the salt, and it was the salt coming from all 4 oceans.
Correct.
Little bit of, how you doing? All blue. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But sorry, I did want to bring that up. So that's why it's such an important why the Going Merry goes, because it was lost in the storm. Who knows where she is? Boom, Going Merry comes out. The spirit of the ship is very much alive and well.
Well, to backtrack even further, I guess, the spirit of the ship, there is an old sailor's tale where like these pirate ships, with given enough like care or like camaraderie or something amongst the crew, they can like
when it feels
attract
truly
a spirit or something that inhabits the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And only Usopp really sees this in Skypiea arc, right? Because the ship's broken, and in the middle of the night he sees someone fixing it. Morning, it's fixed, and he's like, what the heck? And he starts to realize there's something going on with the ship. And that's why he was so adamant against Luffy. He's like, we're not giving up on the Going.
We can't give up. She didn't
can't
give up
give
on
up.
us.
Exactly. Yeah. But unfortunately, the crew also kind of maybe had an inkling, but not as much as Usopp. But, it had to give up anyways. Anyway, gets cut out to the storm like Tony said.
Mm-hmm.
It calls out to Iceberg after it comes back to shore on Water 7, even more beat up. And Iceberg, he patches it up as best he can, and it just goes out by itself. And it says, like, thank you or something.
Yeah.
And then cut to Water 7,
mm-hmm.
right? The crew's in a desperate sitch.
And it's lobby, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And it's lobby. They're on a bridge fighting. Luffy ain't moving.
Mm-hmm. And
they just, they hear, like, this weird, like, noise that no one can tell what it is except for Usopp. And he's like, jump to the sea.
Yeah.
And they all jump, and it's the Going Merry. And then they, like, push Luffy over, and they get on the Going Merry and get out.
Oh, what a good episode.
Yeah. Tony, how hard did you cry when, spoiler alert, the Going Merry?
Yeah, so that's the next step, actually. So they then leave Ennis Lobby. They're going back to Water 7, and they realize that, hey, they need a ship right. They're still trying to convince Frankie to join the crew. At least at a bare minimum, they need a new ship. So they're trying to convince him, hey, we need to build a new ship. Or, you know what I mean? Basically, they know.
That was one last ride for Mary, pretty much.
And so the problem is that of all the spoilers I've seen in One Piece, I knew the Mary was going.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
So I actually saw that scene.
Die, but yes.
Oh yeah, I saw that scene before. So in my head, like I was kind of preparing for it. I didn't know when it was going to happen. So I didn't cry too hard, but I was just like, I was definitely like, holy, like I felt it in my bones.
Yeah.
Like of all the things to feel in the bone, Robin saying I want to live, and which we'll get to the third one, and then the Going Merry going, and then the third one, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Yeah. That one, I was like, I feel this so hard. Like, this is crazy to me. Like, this is such a, like, here I was, like, thinking this is some dumb art, and I love Kobe. To, like, now feeling so much for a ship that I'm like, I'm not even a pirate guy. That's the funniest part. Like, I can't even convince you, like, Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah, they're fun movies. I like them, but, like, I've never been into pirate lore. Like, ever. Yeah. I was never a pirate guy, you know, even growing up and stuff. So it's just funny to me that I'm like, oh my gosh, one of the most, like, media I'm watching is fundamentally a pirate show, and I'm like, where am I going? But no, I really enjoyed that aspect. But yes, the Going Merry goes away, and the fact that it's like, I wish I could have taken us one last time as it's like burning. I was like, oh, just crazy, because there's nothing this crew wouldn't do for that ship. Yeah, and it's a bummer that the kill was going. But yeah, so now we have a crew, Straw Hat crew, just survived a Buster Call. They're now Harry Potter's 1 through 7 because they just survived another Buster Call. Essentially. And then now we have, but no ship. So they need to get a ship. And we're convincing Frankie, saying, hey, by the way, you and your boys help us build a ship. Yeah. So this is where Iceberg and Frankie are teaming up to build the ship. Yeah. And it's very obvious that, well, Frankie hasn't built really anything since Tom passed away. Correct. Because he realized that his own ships were used against, well, there's the flashback, right? Tom was getting unjustly persecuted for doing the whole...
Tom is Frankie's and Iceberg's mentor, the shipwright mentor of both of them. Yep. Continue.
And then he built Goldie Roger's ship. We did talk about this last episode, so I was going to kind of go pretty quick with it. But the fact of the matter is that Frankie fundamentally has not built anything. He's only been a destroyer of things, kind of what his thing is where he's now taking apart things and selling them on the black market.
He likes building weapons.
Yeah. Ever since Tom died, he stopped building things. He only destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. So now he's like taking it and selling it on the like black market and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's very clear to me that, you know, they have one really big hurdle of like, hey, you know, we're asking for a ship. Can you do it? The fact that he agrees is a really big deal. And
well, it's perfect too because, you know, the Frankie family, his subordinates and Frankie feel goodwill towards the Straw Hats because they all helped save Frankie as well, and he saw their whole story. But more importantly, in the very beginning of Water 7, Frankie and his family steal 100 million berries from the Straw Hat crew.
Plus from the Skypiea gold.
Yeah, and buys the materials they're using to make their ship. So
wood of Adam.
Okay. And it's the same material that they used, like same wood that they used to build Goldie Roger's ship, and it's either
like Adam
tree
wood?
of Adam or the world tree.
It's the treasure tree Adam, right? It's called Adam. It's treasure wood. It's the strongest wood in existence. Gold Roger's ship, as Joe mentioned, was made from it. Whitebeard, one of the Emperor's ship, is made from it. I don't know if there's any others that I can think of, or at least stated.
The Moby Dick was made out of it?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, so here we are. Now they're building the Thousand Sunny, which originally I was like, dude, the Going Merry is so much better. But there's so many funny things. So the Thousand Sunny is fundamentally a lion, basically, as it's where the Going Merry was a goat. Mm-hmm. Ram, goat, something.
I'll say goat.
And it's just funny because the two anchors are the paws that come down from the Thousand Sunny. And I don't know why I love that so much. It's so dumb. Like, there's like, they don't even bring it up. But yeah, every once in a while, they'll be like, we're going to bring the anchors down. The paws like retract. And I'm like, oh, this is funny. No, but there's a bunch of stuff. So the fact that Frankie made it, he's now put some more of his cola, engines into it. So it can do coup d'etat, which is like, basically launches it forward, and it's got a bunch of other fun little knickknacks on the ship. So very powerful and capable and significantly bigger ship than the Going Merry. So though it's very sad that the Going Merry passed away, it's also an upgrade, so to speak. Correct. So now they're now going on. And Frankie finally joins the crew.
After Robin gets a handful of berries, I believe.
You can say that again.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I didn't think about that. I was like, well, technically Robin has been a co I was like, oh, okay, yes. That's when they, she does get on his HR. There's not a good HR department on the Going.
Frankie, he was being pretty stubborn about joining, so Robin had to, grab his family jewels, as is what's said.
As Luffy would say, yeah. Jeez, I forgot about that. Yeah. So, here we are. So now, fundamentally, we have Frankie and the crew. We just got our other boy join.
Yep. Frankie's on the crew. They're now departing Water 7. And I think the next island they go to Thriller Bark.
Another good,
my
another good
goodness.
arc.
This is where I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. As a viewer, I'm gonna add my two cents in really quick. I was so nervous because you guys were like, Ennis Lobby's gas. I just watched Ennis Lobby, and I'm like, dang, dude, they're right. And you guys never mentioned really anything else. I didn't know if that was like the turning point or whatnot. I didn't know if it was like a little blip on like, hey, Ennis Lobby's great, and then the rest of it's okay, and then you get another blip. But it legitimately is. It's a blip, but then it just steadily increases.
Exactly.
Because it's not like Thriller Bark is like something beautifully amazing. I really liked it. I like the theme of it, and oddly enough, I watched Thriller Bark in October.
Perfect timing.
And it was literally perfect timing.
Yeah.
The whole shtick of Thriller Bark is basically body horror, thriller. Well, it's thrillers in the name, but yes.
Zombie, Frankenstein,
ghosts.
Bermuda Triangle, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, so it's shadows, everything. So it was just funny when I watched it. It was literally in October, and it was like perfect timing for it. And it's also one of my favorite characters that I've seen spoilers on. Brooks is coming on the scene, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped!"
From day one, Brooks has been Tony's boy. He's like,
Since day one.
please.
Dude,
Talk about the Moby Dick, the white whale. That
Yeah.
was my white whale. I'm like,
we're
Brooks, please.
You're like, no big deal. Just watch like 350 episodes. Then you get to meet your favorite character.
Yeah.
So, look back on the tape. You guys, when I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch Brooks," you guys were mentioning it was like episode 600 or 700.
I don't know if that's true.
No, I like look back and
We were talking.
I think
we were talking about Dressrosa for that late level.
maybe,
of
but it was just
episodes.
funny because you guys mentioned it, and I was like, you know what? I'll get there, no worries. So when Thriller Bark happened, I wasn't prepared at all. So it was almost a good thing that you guys like messed up the numbers because I didn't know Brooke was even coming. Like I had no concept of, you know what I mean? I was just like, dude, who is this guy? And then I was, oh, it's Brooke. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. So
It's literally the first thing Luffy does when he sees him. He's like, "Join my crew."
yeah, no, that's actually not the first thing he says.
Maybe it's the second or third, but it's real quick.
But remember the first one?
He said to Brooks.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
it's my favorite line of all One Piece.
May I see your panties?
No, that's what
Brooks
he
says
says.
that. Brooks says that.
He says that to Nami, but he, what do you call it? I was gonna say Sniper King. No, Usopp. By the way, they resolved at the end of Water 7. Sniper King left the area. Usopp comes back, and then Luffy and Usopp make up and make friends. Whole point is that Usopp's freaking out because it's a living, breathing skeleton, and Luffy comes up and was just like, "Do you poop?"
Oh yeah.
Killed me. I don't know why. Of all the actions, Zoro asking to play rock, paper, scissors to chop off hands was hilarious. Luffy asking Brooks to poop if he poops, top thing, and then for him to be like, "Yes, I poop," and it was just so funny. I don't know why it killed me so much, and it just destroyed me. So already I'm like, this is gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
I was so pumped.
Brooks is
and
a
then
great
the second question was, "Do you want to join my crew?" And then Usopp's like, "Are you serious?" Yeah. But sorry, I got a little bit out of ourselves. But yeah, Thriller Bark was just, it's not like a blip, but it was a big deal because we get another warlord, Greco Moria. Which, oh, by the way, let's talk about my feelings on that emotion, or talk about my emotions while watching this. Gecko Moria was the only character I got so close to turning off. Like, whenever I
Really?
saw him on the screen, like, I liked him as a character, but that she laugh,
yeah.
and he does it every voice line. He would bookend it. He would laugh, say a line, laugh. Or he would say a line, laugh, and then say another. Like, he was so consistent on that laugh. It was just into my bones. Like, I could do that laugh at any point. Someone could bring it up. Oh my gosh. I still love the arc. Don't get me wrong. But it was like, after like 30 or 40 episodes of that, hearing that laugh, I was like, dude.
So let's talk about Moria, right? Because
He's a beast.
he's a beast. Like Tony said, he's a warlord. So to put it in context, the crew left Water 7, and they're trying, or they have to go through what's called like, I don't know if it's called Bermuda Triangle, but it's the Bermuda
Effectively,
Triangle.
yeah.
Right?
It's an area where
Yeah.
there's no ships that ever leave.
Exactly. And they're like, okay, we'll figure it out.
It's always dark.
And that's where they first find Brooke on an abandoned, destroyed ghost ship.
Mm-hmm.
And they find a quote-unquote ghost, because Brooks is a living skeleton, as Tony mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But then they realize or figure out that, Brooke can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
He has to stay in the mist because he doesn't have a shadow. Because Moria, the warlord, has the shadow fruit. and stole his shadow a long time ago. And he's been stealing a lot of people's shadows and shoving them into zombies to create like an army. Because the shadow is like a soul, and he can command them.
It's basically like you almost like imagine like a copy where your body still stays the same. You just don't have a shadow, and if you see sunlight, you're done.
Correct.
But that shadow, he can then put into like a homunculus or like a avatar, basically, and then they'll act on your behalf. So it's like you share your experiences or memory. You're basically like a copy of yourself. But that's important because people both have the same.
Very important, yeah. Because they do find, so the crew goes in, starts kicking some butt, whatever. In particular, when they find Brooke's shadow, it's really fun. And also tees up in this great arc that we see or just have seen. And Oda builds it up for a long time, Wano. But Moria...
Paul, you better be real careful, big dog.
Moria unearthed a legendary samurai's corpse and stole it from Wano and brought it to, this area, along with his legendary sword.
Oh, he does mention Wano. I'll give you that one. That was close,
Which
Paul.
is a black blade, by the way.
It's not called Samahata. It's kind of like that because it sounds like it.
Shisui?
It's Shisui.
Okay, Shisui. Okay.
But either way, he puts Brooke's shadow in that, and Zoro duels him. Now...
Oh, what a good show.
Ryuma is the name of the legendary Japanese swordsman that he goes and defiles his grave to take a shadow and bring it back.
And if he was in his prime, Zoro never would be able to touch him. But he beats him, and Brooke in the corpse body, whatever, he's like, you defeated me, yada, yada, yada. And he drops his sword and gives it to Zoro.
Oh, what a good scene.
And he gets this bad butt sword, katana. And again,
it's my favorite
it's a
sword
black
so far.
blade, and we've only seen 2 of those, which is
pink roses, red roses. It's the black blade with the red roses on it.
Yeah,
like on the blade. I just think they're saying sorry.
Yeah, but Mihawk, the best swordsman in the world, has a black blade.
Yep.
And we technically don't know what that means at this time period, but now Zoro has one, which
Big
is
deal.
fun.
Yeah. Oh, what a good! That was probably one of my favorite fight scenes too. The fact that Brooke was they called it the whistling swordsman. Because Brooke was kind of known as the humming swordsman because he was hummed. But, it was just really fun to see them react and act with all that stuff and seeing the fact that the shadows and there's so much other fun stuff that happens during this arc. But for all intents and purposes, it's basically like this big, we're fighting against shadows. We're trying to get to Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria has a very army. He's basically a classic necromancer where he just has an army and onslaught of these people. Yeah. And the Straw Hat crew has to fundamentally go through them.
Yep.
And so much so that the Straw Hat crew gets their own shadows taken. So now that they're already invested with helping Brooks, now they're even more. Yeah. So Zoro and Sanji both get their shadows taken.
Yep.
And it's fun because part of their basically being retains in the shadow for a little bit.
Their personalities also in the shadow.
So funny.
So seeing the swordsman or the undead swordsman Zoro with the dog homunculus Sanji fight it out was really funny. And then we also get where it's now low lore drop. So 1, we have lore drop of Zoro getting the sword. 2, we have the lore drop of Sanji. Not only his 2 dreams in his life.
Yes.
The all blue and the invisible fruit. And he now finds the user of said invisible fruit. And he's very upset with the fact that it is not in his hands. I did like that lore drop.
There might have been a steamy shower scene with Nami and this invisible user.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was watching that I'm pretty sure it was on the TV, and a classic.
This is right when somebody's gonna walk in.
Oh yeah, every time.
What are you watching?
Jenna walks in. Well, by the way, inverse. I walked in on her watching Heated Rivalry, so we're kind of samey same. Well, I'll be honest, mine was much more tasteful. That was mine did not. There's a lot of suds there. I was fine, but oh my gosh. But okay, outside the point of those scenes, this is a family podcast here. No, I'm joking. But no, it was the fact that the invisible fruit is what he's after, and the fact that there's all this stuff going on, and we see. Oh my gosh, I almost said the Warhammer name. I was like Petronelia. What's the girl? What's the ghost girl?
Vivar.
Yeah, but what's the ghost girl?
Oh, I forget her name.
Patrona?
No.
It'd start with a P, I think.
I'm almost certain.
Yeah, it's like Peroni. It's something close to that.
Yeah, isn't that an Italian dish?
I think so.
But yeah, either way, we also get her as well, and it's really fun to see her devil fruit with all the ghosts, and then the fact that her ghost can go through you, and it's just like, oh,
You want to give us your impression of her laugh, Tony?
Oh my gosh! See, here's the funny thing: if you went through all the laughs, I have them all in my head, but I really had to think. Wasn't hers? Bada. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a fun character, and
But I want you guys to know, I did that right off the dome.
you got
Okay,
it.
good.
yeah. As Tony said, she has the gloom fruit, so she has like these little ghosts that go through people and make them like super depressed and sad. And it was funny because Usopp was paired up
Perona.
to fight her, and it went through Usopp, and it didn't affect him because he's always pessimistic.
Yeah, he's so negative.
And he's like, and then that's when he uses like, the 1,000-pound hammer gun that's just air, and he shoots a ball with like a bunch of cockroaches in it at her, and she freaks out.
It's all fake cockroaches, yeah. But he does find out the most important thing, that she's not in her body.
Yeah.
So he's now, you're starting to see the tactics of Usopp, where you start to see like Nami and Usopp fundamentally aren't the strongest fighters. But their battle sense is unreal.
You mean aren't the strongest fighters?
That's what I said. Oh, did I say? Oh, are not strong fighters. But their battle sense is unreal. Like, watch Nami go through. Oh my gosh. Was it Eneru? Was that the
lightning guy?
Lightning guy.
Yep.
It was Eneru. Okay. Eru Luvatar is in Lord of the Rings. Dude, how do I keep anything straight in my brain is beyond me. But I do remember him. Funny enough. But so him, like, that battle sense was the first time we saw Nami. Then against CP9 with the bubble fruit, or soap fruit, whatever her name was, unreal. Khalifa was her name. That's what it was. Crazy. And then now we see Usopp also going to join the ranks, going against Perona, being like, wait, you're not with your body right now. I need to find your original body. Finds the original body, and then does all this ploy tactics to scare her. So he's using his own, her own fears against her. It's just brilliant. I was like, oh my gosh, I miss Sniper King. I don't know where he is, but Usopp, I'm digging where he's at right now. So
I was
very pumped.
For sure.
And well, I mean, basically what ends up happening, to continue on with the story, Joe, unless you want to jump in, because really,
yeah, I mean, really the only until you get to where Luffy defeats
Oars.
Gecko Moria would be Oars. So,
yeah, so
one of the main forces of Gecko Moria's zombie army is this legendary giant Oars, the Continent Puller. And
I forgot that was his name.
Yeah, like pretty sick moniker there.
Yeah.
And so that's like another obstacle they have to get through. And obviously, like Paul mentioned with Ryuma, the legendary Japanese swordsman, they're kind of like shells of themselves. Mm-hmm. They're not, they can never be 100% of what they were when they were alive. Mm-hmm. So same thing with Oars. He's able to be overcome. Whereas, back in his day, literally, you don't get a title like Continent Puller if you're just Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Nobody runs through you.
You get his vision of the power a little bit with his son.
You do. We'll talk
about
grandson,
but whatever it was. But that's the other thing too. They also confused because he also just put Luffy's soul in him, and he tries to do gum fruit powers, and they're like,
"Yep,
you can't do that."
Well, that's why this fight too is really cool, because it's the first time. Yeah, it's the first time we see where the entire crew has to work together to defeat this bad guy.
You're right. They're always separated.
Yep, because Zoro, when Zoro fought Rumi, whatever his name is, he had Brook's shadow in it, right? And Brook is way weaker than Zoro, right? Mm-hmm. So it was an even fight at that rate because it was an OP body and a weak shadow. Zoro was able to, defeat it. Even though that body the body belonged to an OP swordsman. It's decayed, it's whatever, but it still has something to it. So that's why he was able to match Zoro, but Zoro was able to overcome it. But now you have this continent polar giant with the shadow of Luffy in one thing, and that's, since it's giant already, it's pretty dang powerful. So everyone has to work together.
And what was it, like all the like people in the village or something start like just stealing and giving Luffy shadows?
Yep.
Yeah.
They've been catching. So there's some outcasts on the island who had their shadows stolen. They've been collecting stray shadows for the one day to shove it all in one person and give him a giant shadow boost power.
Yeah.
They do that to Luffy, and Luffy's basically a blue Hulk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's like Gear 3.5 pretty much.
Yeah.
What people consider it.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say, he does end up doing Gear 3 in that state. which end up takes down Oars. And it's just crazy to think back of like that time period of like, oh my gosh, like they just like bump him up.
Yeah.
And that's what the one girl who's always like, marry me, you know,
the pig.
Yeah, the warhog. Oh my gosh, can't remember her name, but the actual
Lola.
person, Lola. Thank you,
Lola.
And you know, there's also canonically they're like, man, I like her and Nami are talking. Like I feel like we're just friends, and it's like, oh wait, no, the shadow. Like some of the shadow's essence went also back to the human when they got reunited. So it's kind of fun to think back to that moment of that reunification of the shadow and the person. But yeah, so takes down Oars. Right when you think everything's all good, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best
great
thing.
moment.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Gecko Morio goes hard in the paint and goes, wow, you think this is like the only card up my sleeve? Like you've only faced my minions. Now you're facing me. And he just absorbs all the crazy souls, gets way huge, and they're now kind of back at an Oars level fight while Luffy's kind of like now down for the count for all intents and purposes.
But the thing is, you know, Moria he took too much,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they were able to
Overindulgent.
defeat him in the end.
Yeah. There's a classic where like the shadows were now fighting Gecko Moria.
Yeah. But what happened after, Tony?
So
After they defeat Moria.
finally, Moria is defeated. And they're, enjoying themselves. They're getting bandaged up. Luffy is in a very sorry state. A lot of them are in a very sorry state.
Correct.
Hurt and everything. But they're having a feast a little bit. And they're like, hey, we're going to hit the road, when we're done. Brooks finally joined the crew. Enjoy yourselves kind of deal. And at that moment, Kuma, of all people, come in with the pawpaw fruit.
Kuma's another warlord.
Yeah,
Karma's a warlord.
Yet another warlord, just like
Casually popping
dropping
in.
in.
And man, does he do it in a really cash way. But gets to a point where he is now facing, well, I guess
It's everyone still. Everyone stands up to fight him.
everyone stands with to fight him. And then basically he's going hard in the paint and just wiping everybody out.
Yep.
Really giving them the ones. And it gets to the point where basically there's a separation, but that's when Zoro and Sanji are still in a very sorry state. Everyone's in a sorry state. But they go and they're like, hey, we need to face Kuma alone.
Mm-hmm.
Take my life, spare everyone else's kind of deal.
Well, it's the point where everyone's knocked
Down,
out,
yeah.
right? And Kuma lifts up Luffy because he previously stated, he's like, hey, I'm here for Luffy,
Yeah.
right? Because I was told by the world government to kill him, right? And so he's there to kill Luffy. Everyone's knocked out. He picks him up to kill him. And then Zoro steps back up, slices Kuma a little bit. The first wound he ever put on him in that scene. And then that's when Sanji stands
Gotcha.
up too.
I
And
couldn't
they're
remember
like,
when
hey,
they went,
put
yeah.
him down.
Take
our,
us, yeah.
Zoro's like, take my life instead. And Sanji's like, nah, fam, take my life.
Yeah, don't
instead.
take Moss Heads. His life's worthless. I'll be,
And then what does Zoro do to Sanji?
beats him up.
Yeah, he knocks him out.
Knocks
Yeah.
him out.
Yep.
And then so at that moment, Sanji's down. Zoro is there. And
Last one standing.
Last one standing. And Kuma's like, okay, well, if you want this smoke, I'll give it to you. So then he absorbs all the pain, battle damage, and everything off of Luffy into this paw cloud thing. And was going, if you can survive this, then yeah, like, I'll kind of walk kind of deal.
So Kuma's fruit is the pawpaw fruit, or in other terms, the repel fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So in the battle, he used compressed air to like basically nuke blast Straw Hats a billion times. But for Luffy, what he did was what Tony just mentioned. He uses power to repel all the fatigue, pain, everything from Luffy's body. So essentially, Luffy's basically healed. He's just still knocked out. And he has in this giant red pain circle, and he sends a little bit Zoro's way. And
He's like, this is like a tenth of what Luffy felt.
yeah,
It was the biggest paw. It went right through Zoro's chest, and Zoro
barely.
couldn't even stand. Yeah. And they're like, hey, I'm going to send this fully at you.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do this? And Zoro's like, yeah, absolutely.
And instead of Kuma just sending it at him, Zoro puts both arms forward to take it himself.
Well,
Yeah.
he lets Zoro choose a different place. He's like, let's take this somewhere else. So they go to a secluded location.
Because he doesn't want to know
Yep.
that.
Kuma
Yeah.
leaves it there for him, and Zoro puts both hands in and takes it.
And then they end up finding him, which very notable of very strong people in this, this whole episodic wonder, is the fact of Zorro is still standing, and his blood is like everywhere.
It's insane.
And he's barely alive, but he is still standing.
Yeah.
And then when asked what happened,
By
he
Sanji,
answers-
because Sanji found him.
because Sanji found him,
Yep.
nothing happened.
Yeah. He said nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Yep.
Even two bystanders later on in the couple episodes were like, "Hey, we saw the whole thing."
And Sanji,
Sanji
grabs
said-
him. He's like, whoa, 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 tell me what happened. And then he's like,
Nothing happened.
nothing happened.
Exactly. So I liked a lot of the memes. Paul, you sent me one. They're like, "Wow, 10 years ago they released an episode where nothing happened. It's just Zoro standing." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Luckily, I saw that part. Yeah.
But that was a really cool moment where we see the dedication even more that the crew had for Luffy, especially Zoro, willing to give up everything, right, for Luffy's dream. And then obviously, I mean, you see it as well, but literally the rest, all the way up until whatever the time skip, Zoro is like still extremely and gravely injured, right? You never see a character so injured through multiple arcs, and Zoro does not heal until after the time skip.
Yeah.
He's just been effed.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. The fact that he was injured over multiple arcs. And now we're at a point where, Kuma just casually came in and wrecked their day. And so I think that it's at the moment where they're going, okay, well, we still have to keep going on this journey. But equally so, we have to get stronger. It's kind of that realization.
We're starting to see it, and they're starting to see it. 'Cause they barely beat Moria, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They had to get souls from all these other people to even get close to touching him. So,
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
they're kind of realizing like, hey, we've been able to overpower foes early on. Now we're getting to the point where like we kind of need like outside intervention. These shadows, and we need like almost a luck factor now to like really beat some of the people we're beating. So it's a realization that the whole team's having that like, yeah, we kind of need to do a little more training. We need to really step up our own game. Because we're starting to see some really heavy hitters like Kuma, like we said, very casually comes in, and he also just leaves.
Yeah.
Like if he wanted to, he wiped them out completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had government orders to do it. Why he didn't, we don't know that at this point.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah,
Well, Tony does
it's a
now.
hard
We'll talk
realization.
about it,
Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, 1,000%. And the craziest part is you're totally right. There's luck factors, but they also know in their heads they're like, we are about to cross over the red line, which is kind of the other half
the
of the
halfway.
grand line point. And they're going, if we're barely making it here, what are we gonna do, kind of deal. And so I think this is just this deep realization of, hey, something needs to happen. But regardless, there's still very much less press on. And what does that pressing on look like?
Yeah.
Sabaody Archipelago.
Well, first of all, Brooke joins, right? The musician.
Yeah.
That's what it was called, the whistling swordsman or
He's a
whatever.
whistling swordsman. Humming swordsman, I think, is the actual one. I think the shadow was called the whistling one, but him was the humming swordsman. But
Yeah, so they get another cool member of the crew who's also a pervert like Sanji.
yeah.
Always ask women for if you can see their panties.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot your shot, right?
You gotta
Those are the
shoot.
shots you don't take.
Hey, you gotta shoot it, And it's just so funny because he's also, since he's been alone for all this time, the fact that like he's with other people, he's like no manners. So when he eats, he always burps and farts. I literally okay. Another fun one is so there's a lot of times too where it's like I've got Peter down, I'm laying in bed, and so this is like 3 a.m. or whatever. Jenna's already sleeping, and I'm like, I kind of have to calm my brain down, go back to bed. Let me just watch a casual one episode, here for the monitor and watch this episode. Just to make sure Peter's sleeping and everything. So I'm watching the episode. And every single time Brooke was eating at a table, and I remember one episode in particular, and I remember laughing so hard I woke Jenna up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. She's like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? I was like, oh, no, it was nothing. And then I didn't have the heart to tell her the next day to be like, I was literally laughing at a fart joke from this talking skeleton. I couldn't do it. It's when they're at the table and he's like explaining his background and he just like, and just like farts and then burps at the same time. And it just killed me. It's so dumb, but I love it so much. Oh, potty humor is so funny to me. I don't care what happens. Yeah, it's funny.
Brooke is great.
I love Brooke. But yeah, Brooke is now on the crew. And you get a backstory. The backstory is very important for Brooke because it's Labu, which happens to be the same whale that was at the Grand Line, or going into the Grand Line.
Reverse
Right
Mountain.
at the bottom of Reverse Mountain.
Yeah.
With Crocus.
Yep.
With Crocus,
Yep,
yeah.
'cause they were the origin, really, because, I forget which blue they're from, but Brooke's original crew, that whale, Laboon, followed them over the mountain. And they're like, hey, you have to stop and wait here for us. We promise we'll be back. Right? And then they end up all being wiped out.
Because they couldn't protect. Yeah, they couldn't
Right.
protect him. Like they didn't have the means to it.
Exactly. But yeah, they all died. Brooke only lived. Well, Brooke died, actually. Brooke was able to come back to life because he ate the soul or revival fruit. And his soul came back.
Yeah. The fruit literally does nothing while you're alive.
Correct.
It's one of those, like, you eat the human fruit and you're a human. You
Good
just
luck.
lost the ability to swim. Good job.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
But he's a skeleton because even though he came back instantly after his death, he was still in the Bermuda Triangle area, and it's super foggy there. So when his soul just came down from heaven, it's just fog, and he doesn't know where the ship or his body is. So he wandered for like 10 plus years in the frickin' mist, and then finally found the ship with his body already decayed, just into bones, and his afro, which his hair has good roots.
Yeah.
So they
all
never
over the
fell
skull.
off.
Yeah.
Never fell off.
Gosh, I love that whole backstory and him talking, and talk about another part that hits you. That was like my third part, where when him and his crew was singing,
They sung to their
Big
death.
Sakes.
Oh, so sad.
It's so tough. Yeah, that was a rough one. But what a great arc. The fact that he's joining in the crew, and now they're going into presumably kind of this second part of the trip, which for all intents and purposes, the reason why Sabio de Archipelago is so important is because this is kind of like the last quote-unquote stage, or
The last
last
island,
island
really.
before the second half, where you literally have to get this special coating on your ship to basically make it a bubble so you can go to Fishman Island.
Yep.
So you literally go underneath the red line.
Well, yeah, there's two ways to get past that red line. One is through the government lift, which pirates cannot do,
Yep.
obviously. And the other is to do this really risky passage where you have to coat your ship and then go underneath it.
Yeah, go underneath literally the mountain pass, which is crazy to think about. And so they're continuing onward, and it's a really big deal. The fact that they kind of realize they need to get strong, but they're going to keep moving forward on the Sabio Archipelago. And this is where the first time, like, you already kind of got inklings of how bad the world government is, and now we're really getting it. By the way, you guys can jump in at any time. I don't have to keep explaining this. I'm just, like, fresh off, so it's easy for me to...
That's why I'm
just keep
listening,
going.
yeah.
It's invigorating to hear you talk about it, because we had the same passion that you had as we're watching it, and being 600 episodes ahead of you, essentially, it's refreshing to us to like hear kind of like initial thoughts from you on it. Yeah.
I can add more of my initial thoughts, but that was just waking up Jenna laughing to a fart joke. I think that's really where my thoughts are. But no, so it's just funny because now they're getting to a point where they're going to Sabio Archipelago. This is where you're starting to see more of the world government. You start realizing that there's these celestial dragons, which is like this elite of elite class that's like bloodline over bloodline, and they're basically heading up. They are the ruling class, so to speak, of the world government. And let's just say they're less than stellar people.
Yeah.
It's very obvious
They're
that
just the privileged. I wouldn't even call them ruling per se. They're the privileged class. They are the descendants of the first kings that created the world government.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
So they're allowed literally to do anything. Whatever they want to do, you can do it. So most of them are just degenerate, evil, terrible people.
Yeah.
Right? But there are some who are actually involved in the government because they aren't idiots. And most of them are idiots, like the ones we see.
Yeah, especially the ones that, And so basically we go to Sabio Archipelago, and they're kind of saying, hey, there's a lot of these high-ranking people here. Like, keep your nose clean, it's not even worth it. So we see these high-level pirates, like, keep their nose down a little bit. And they're seeing this big injustice in the world. There's literally, like, they have human slaves going about them, like, and they're just pushing them around, and basically that just, like, tips Luffy off. He wants to go do something.
Yeah.
And then they decide, no, let's not do something. Like, let's not be rash. Let's not do this. Then it turns out that, by the way, forgot to mention, while they're in Sabio Archipelago, they have Kami.
Correct.
And Kami is a
on their way to Sabio Archipelago. they rescue a mermaid and her pet starfish from like poachers. I can't remember, hunters.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's human. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mermaids fundamentally. I think like the bare minimum is like over like I think it's a couple million berries for a mermaid.
As you would expect,
It's-
super expensive.
yeah,
They also find Hachi on their way.
Yeah, it's a slave trade.
Hachi. Forgot. Yeah.
But
Just yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting because, like, this is the turning point, right? Well, not a turning point, but this is like the last way station to the second half. And previously, right, there are 7. They mentioned this. There are 7 paths to this island, right? And each path, the starfish.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. Sorry.
Each path is dictated by the log pose and when you get set on it, right? So Luffy and his crew was on one of the 7th paths. And each of the other ones were also making waves by other pirates, newbies. And they all meet up here at the exact same time, in the exact same spot, and they're dubbed the worst generation. Because they've made so much mess. Right?
Yeah.
And it's what you said, we see the celestial dragons doing injustices in the street. Literally some dude like accidentally hits him or just like bumps into him and he shoots him.
Yeah.
Right? And Zoro sees this and he's like, what? And the celestial dragon points the gun at Zoro because he won't move out of the way. And Zoro's about to cut him down. But then one of the worst generation tackles him and he's like,
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Oh, you're so clumsy. Oh, get out of the way. Come over here. And then like Shelters kind of runs him out of there. So at some point while they're there on the island, Kami does end up getting captured. I think St. Charlos is, or who captures him? Because I know St. Charlos is the one that wants to buy her.
What, Kami? Who captures Kami?
Yeah, I can't remember how she ends up getting captured. Like at the auction.
Okay, really quick. There's a little bit of a filler before this. Sanji, it's a big joke. Sorry, I'll go back really quick. It's a big joke. The fact that after Enies Lobby, they all get bounties on their heads.
Yes.
Everyone in the crew.
Huge.
Big bounties.
Very big bounties. And so Sniper King gets a bounty. Who knows where he's at? And then Luffy's bounty increases. We have Zoro's bounty increases. We have Robin's bounty increase as well. And for the first time ever, Blackleg Sanji gets a bounty. But they don't get a picture of him. So then they had to draw a picture. And the doodle is less than forgiving. And Sanji is very, very, very upset with it. Turns out, as they're going to Sabaody, there is a group of basically
It's like the flying fish raiders.
Yeah, flying fish raiders, where they're like buying and selling people, which is horrible. You know what I mean? And basically, they go up to Sanji and they're like wanting to fight him because it's basically ruining his life because it just so happens that his face looks like Sanji's face.
Dead on this
To the
horrific doodle.
Yeah.
So
everyone wants to turn his bounty in, like they want to turn him in for the bounty, and it's a very big deal. And some altercations happens and stuff like that, which I couldn't remember if he still came here or not. I don't think he did,
No.
but he helps them because he does the trade.
Helps them get him out. But I think Kami just gets caught by happenstance. I think there's like low-level players, or they're like Nami and something else, right? And they accidentally get caught with
she
her.
was going to go in town shopping. Somebody catch her, kind of like a Daphne Scooby-Doo thing.
Okay.
Just, she gets caught. I don't think it was anything
I like that. I
Yeah,
like that example.
It wasn't
by
a
the way.
huge altercation. 'cause-
crazy. Yeah.
But it's important that Sanji beats up the
Flying fish guy.
flying
Whereas
fish guy.
Well, actually, that's a devil fruit, but yes.
Yeah. But he takes out the fish guy, and what ends up happening, he kicks him into a now more beautiful face that doesn't look anything like him now. And he's so grateful because now he's handsome, and now he doesn't have to worry about
literally
anybody.
Squidward getting hit in the face with the door and becoming handsome Squidward. It's like this guy just becomes like a marble
Chiseled,
chiseled god.
It's so funny. And he always just wink, but his face gets stuck when he winks. They're like, quit winking, But he kind of helps them out because they figure out that Kami is stolen by these people.
Yeah.
And so they're getting their help, and they're like, hey, what's going on? These people will come back up. That's why I brought them up, too.
Yeah.
Not only to help Kami, but they do another thing as well. Point is that now they know that there's a slave trade going on. We need to figure out what's going on. They now get to the underbelly of like these auctions, and lo and behold, who's there? Celestial dragons. Same celestial dragon that tried to put a bullet in Zoro's head.
Yep.
Not good.
Not good.
Luffy can barely handle himself just with the fact that this is even going on. let alone the fact that now Kami is up for auction and this celestial dragon wants to buy her for an exorbitant amount of money. Ends up actually purchasing her for her with an exorbitant amount of money. And even the celestial dragons were like, that was kind of a dumb purchase. And he's like, well, I got it, so who cares? You know what I mean? Money wise.
I've always wanted one. You know?
I've always wanted one. I always wanted a mermaid kind of deal. And so now we kind of get this boil over effect where Luffy can't handle it anymore. Yeah. And Hachi's literally...
Who also is in the audience. You had mentioned it, or maybe Paul touched base, the worst generation.
Oh, you're right.
Supernovas is another name. Rising Rookies.
Yeah.
So it's all these people. So we have Luffy from the Straw Hats.
Yep.
We have Trafalgar Law, who is the Polar Tongues' ship.
Oh, you're trying to think of his... Heart? No, it's... Gosh,
I might not know their names yet, so maybe we'll skip past
It's the Heart Pirates.
Yeah, I think
he's the Heart Pirates.
Heart Pirates.
Because he's the Heart Fruit. He's the...
I don't know his power yet.
Yeah, you do.
He's
the surgeon. He's the surgeon.
Oh, I know, but they've only showed... Okay, where's that level?
Exact description I gave her.
maybe I'll actually really quick. No, that's all good. No. So you do. He is the surgeon. He's got a really cool sword. You do see it, but you don't see it like detailed yet. Sure. I only know it because of our One Piece 101. You mentioned that this would be a good fruit to do it because he's basically like he makes a clean room.
Yeah.
And can like rearrange people.
Yeah, you saw that.
I've not seen him rearrange anyone. I've only seen him work.
Have.
Yeah. So
it's in that episode. He literally removes someone's head. He puts it on like a cannonball. He cuts people in half and they don't die because
Maybe okay. So maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. Okay, we're good. Sorry.
So and then you have Eustace Kid. For the kid pirates, he's the red hair, like real. He's as brash as Luffy is, and but a little more devilish. Yeah, a bit more of a mean streak to him.
Yeah, he's like Magneto, magnetic fruit. He can just zoom in everything.
And so who else we have? We have
that's the only people in the crowd though for the.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, you get the Italian guy. I can't remember his name. He's got all the mobsters and they go into his body.
Castle Fruit.
Yeah.
It's killing me. Yeah, he looks like the mobster.
That's his whole thing.
Gang Beige.
I think that's right.
Okay.
It's gang something.
And then you have the girl who Julie Bonnet. She can't stop eating. Yep. She's very much like Luffy in that regard.
Basil Hawkins. He is the one with the eyeliner. Looks like Derek Carr. He's got the tarot cards.
Drake.
Captain X Drake.
Yep.
Which I don't know if they give much backstory to him, but he was like former captain in the Marines, and now he's
I need to see what Drake looks like.
Turned pirate. He's kind of got like the fronged big
hair. Oh yeah.
He's got an X somewhere on his body.
Well, he's a dinosaur. He's the dinosaur fruit guy.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to say that. I couldn't remember if that got revealed.
Then we got one more, the monk guy. I forget his name too, because
Urogi.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He's got like the tiny little wings.
He's like a Skypia character.
Yes, you have that guy. You're the monk guy, and then
Monk Urogi.
You have the guy who's got the double elbows. He plays the music.
Tribe.
Yeah, the long arm tribe.
He plays music. That's his power fruit. His teeth are a piano.
He's such a tool.
He is.
He's a DJ, but yeah.
All of them though that I can think of. But Law, Kid, and Luffy are the. Actually, technically, first of all, Zoro and Kid's first mate, what's his name? Killer and Zoro are part of the worst generation, right? So they're strong enough to be considered among these captain level figures, right?
Oh, okay.
But Luffy, Law, and Kid are the strongest three, supposedly through bounties, of the group.
Yeah, they go through the bounty list, which I really enjoyed. They're like, hey, this is, and they're explaining it through the episode, which is so funny because, like, just for context, this is probably 400 plus episodes, and it's so funny because one episode will have like so much lore drop, and then the rest of the episodes are like, kind of progressing, which is like not a big deal, but it is funny because like when that one episode happens, and like I almost have to like write notes down, like I'm like I gotta write this down.
Well, even more of a lore drop because I mentioned before Hachi comes back in. Hachi is one of the fishmen who was part of Arlong's crew that basically, tortured Nami's village and like he did all those things and basically enslaved Nami through their pirate crew for years. And Hachi, right? We see a part of his backstory a little bit and why he was a part of that, but he basically isn't on a redemption arc when he meets Nami again, and he's also with Kami and the Starfish and whatever. and they start being buddy, and which is good. But Hachi is the one who breaks first, and he goes down the aisle trying to get Kami, and they notice that he's a fishman.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the celestial dragon is like, "You dirty fishman," and he starts shooting Hachi, and he shoots him like 5 times. And Luffy goes down trying to stop, and I think it's Kid or Law. I think it was Kid, because Kid was standing in the back where Luffy came through the doors. He stopped him. He's like, "Don't do this," and Luffy gets past him, walks right up to the celestial dragon, and gives him a clean right hook. Throws him across multiple aisles.
By the way, the meme is
speechless.
The meme is it was so clean they went back to the manga because they literally there's a frame.
They took all the color out of the shot just to give it that much more, and took the sound.
Everything. It was silent. It was frame for frame the manga that they put in that, and it was like, it was because they play with the animation sometimes. That was like the most powerful. Like you knew this was the punch heard around the world. Like no sound, no anything, black and white, manga frame, panel for panel.
Yep.
Punching the celestial dragon.
Well, it's so big there too because we just saw the power of a Buster Call twice, right? With O'Hara and then its lobbies.
Yeah.
And now everyone in that room, Luffy has been notified. We've been notified. The consequences of even touching or hurting a celestial dragon, the first response is you send an admiral, which is like, I'd rather take 10 Buster Calls than deal with an admiral type situation. So Luffy just punched this guy, and everyone in the room's like, we need to leave.
Everyone's life is like,
we gotta go.
Forfeit if they stay. It doesn't matter if they were involved or not. They witnessed the event, and it's like they don't even want news of people attacking to invoke other people from rebelling or anything like that. So everyone's like, we got to clear out now. And
get your ships ready, and they're like, well, I'm not ready yet. And they're like, nope, we just gotta leave. Nope, we're gone.
Yep. So everyone clears out, but actually, a lot of the Celestial Dragon guards start coming in to attack the crew and everything. No big deal, whatever. They're just guards.
Yeah.
But what we see then, who do we meet, Tony?
Rayleigh.
Silver Rayleigh.
Yeah. I thought his name had like a dark whatever.
Dark King.
Yep.
Dark King Rayleigh. Yeah, because he was the first mate of Goldie Roger.
Yep.
And it was a big deal because this is our first time, and they do explain it. I'll explain it now. The first time we see Conqueror's energy, Conqueror's hockey, because he walks in and it's just basically passes everybody out.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "What's going on here?" kind of deal. And
but why is he there? Do you remember?
He's the man. What?
Do you remember why he was there in the first place?
Didn't he get captured and he was just casually in the back and was just like, whatever?
He ran out of money to go gambling. So he let himself get caught by slavers so he could rob the place.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then all this stuff happened, and he's like, "Okay, what's going on?" And he walks out from the back.
I couldn't remember. I knew he got caught. I knew it was like a caught, quote unquote. You know what I mean? He really, he was probably fine.
He was. He just ripped off that slave collar like nobody's business.
Yeah, and it was just super cash about it. And he was super quick with it. But yeah, it's Rayleigh is just the man. I love Rayleigh. So this is where we're kind of getting some back and forth and some relatively you got some spirit on you, kid, for doing this. And he's kind of getting these flashbacks of Goldie Roger and same kind of energy that Luffy's pulling off. So I think there's a soft spot in Rayleigh to be like, hey, I want to help these guys out. And here we go.
100%.
No joke. Admiral comes. And who is it? The light fruit guy. Can't remember his name.
Kizaru. Borsalino is I can't remember why they have two names. Aokiji is the...
He's a frozen guy.
Yeah, is his admiral name, but then his
No, Aokiji is his real name. His admiral name is something I forget. They have oh gosh, he's like the Red Beast or the Blue Phoenix or some stupid crap. They only mentioned it once and never really mentioned it again. But I know what you're talking about.
You had Borsalino and you had Kizaru is for
Kizaru. See, that's right. Yeah, I think we're sorry. Yeah. I just remember it's Aokiji and Kizaru. Kizaru is how they say it.
He's the light.
But it's funny because
guy.
you guys probably get different ones for dub versus sub because the dub version is Kizaru.
Yeah.
Kuzan is Aokiji's other name. It's so you see him pop up. It's just one of
that's
those
the
things
thing.
you're like, which one's his actual name, or like was
Well,
it
I
an
think
old
it's-
name and a new name?
They come in for 5 episodes. They say his name
yeah.
maybe twice,
Well, I imagine
and then I'm
it's
like,
Kuzan Aokiji then is his name.
That could be too.
One's his
First name,
last,
last
one's his
name.
first name. Because only Kuzan was.
It's probably one Google away, and I've
Yeah.
just never done
yeah,
it.
no, it's not
You know,
worth it.
I just like
Well,
being
I'm-
confused.
I'm too scared. I'm too scared to Google anything. Like even
that's also
like
true.
Googling, I will say Perona, Google Perona, and no spoilers or anything. But I saw a picture. and I was like, huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, next
wonder what the
question.
context of that photo
yeah, next one. Apparently she's passed the time skip. So here we are. But overall though. Yeah, we get an admiral here, and it's a really big deal because now the Straw Hat crew is going against an admiral.
You see him first walk in looking for them, and he runs into the actual other Worst Generation members, and he just steamrolls them like no big deal. He literally points a finger and he's like, nuke, 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 nuke. He just like destroys them all, and he just keeps on walking looking for Luffy.
Yeah. Physics do not need to be studied in this because he is literally traveling speed of light. Or at
His
least
kick is faster
what
than
he
the speed
says.
of
But then
light.
they have to animate it, so it's like, oh, you see a light beam, kind of reflecting. But
Yeah.
it's pretty much instantaneous. It's faster than like the shave ability that we've seen from like CP9.
Oh, not even not even close. It's crazy. Yeah, his kick, they literally say it's faster than a light kick, and it's like, all right. Yeah. That's kind of physics breaking, but hey, don't look into it too deep. But yeah, so now, the Straw Hats are getting absolutely shreked. I mean, so much so, it's like bad. Lo and behold, though, while the fight is happening with, oh my gosh,
Kizaru?
Yeah, Kizaru, I can't remember how you say it.
Kizaru.
Either way, the fact that fight's going on, now all of a sudden, who comes in? Bakuma. And Rayleigh's like,
Rayleigh
hey.
comes in first.
Oh, well, yeah. Rayleigh is helping out.
And he starts, so Kizaru is destroying him, and then Rayleigh shows up.
Because he's
like,
almost
hey.
killing him.
Yeah, he's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, sorry, King Silver Rayleigh's. What are you doing here?
By the way, very important to note, this is the first time, sorry, I add this emotional. I do want to hear what you say. Sorry, Joe. But really quick, the reason why that's so important is because it's the first time ever a Logia user
Yes, that
got
it is.
blocked
Yep.
by a mere human, Rayleigh.
Yep.
And I remember watching that and going, hold the phone. Someone get Alexander Graham Bell on here. I don't want to hear anything else. Why the heck did he block him? And I did not know, but I will know. Sorry, Joe. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, for that scene where he blocks him, I think Zoro's the one on the ground that he's about to...
He's about to
Zoro's
nuke
about to,
him.
like,
he's about to
essentially
stomp Zoro
through
and kill
his
him.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
Zoro-
where he's powering up his leg, and he's just going to go through.
Yep. Because Usopp was running away with Zoro because, again, Zoro was gravely injured from the previous thing. He was able to stand up just a little bit, but barely
He's
even to
swinging.
fight anyone.
Yeah, he tries
right?
to swing, and
And then, he beats him up, and then he's about to literally stomp his head in.
Yeah. And at that point, they're trying to. Robin does a whole move his body really fast and trying to move him out of the way. And it's just all's not. All of a sudden, Rayleigh speeds in there, blocks the kick.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Huge.
How did that happen? What's going on? Who knows? And before your body can even appreciate what's going on, Kuma jumps in. Now you're like, oh my gosh, we have an admiral and a warlord. And this is when, very emotional scene. Kuma then takes a pawpaw fruit and starts just literally hitting people left and right of each crew member.
Well, actually, let's hold up there. You skipped a very important step.
Which step did I skip?
Something looking like Kuma comes in, right?
Oh, you're correct. The pacifistas are coming
Yes,
in.
the new government secret weapon, Pacifista, I believe.
Yep.
PX, I forget what the PX number was, but there was like another like lieutenant side character who was like, hey, PX whatever, take down the Straw Hats. So as Rayleigh and Kizaru were fighting, the Pacifista came in and started wrecking the Straw Hats. And he's about to finish off one of them, which I think was Usopp. I could be wrong.
Probably, yeah.
Right? And that's when the real Kuma comes in. We're like real confused, right? Because
You're right. Okay, this is why it was, because that was the other thing too. That Kuma, the pacifistas were using beams of light like they were in the light fruit.
Yep.
And they were using different weapons, and they were doing fast and everything, but none of them had gloves on.
Yep.
Also, none of them were holding a Bible.
Yep.
Then Kuma comes in, holding gloves and a Bible, removes one of his gloves, and that's where you know,
And he
okay, who's this
slaps the
going on?
Pacifista away.
Yeah.
And it just it blinks. It disappears.
Yeah.
Don't
gets
know
him
what
out of
happened to
there.
it.
Yep.
And then he proceeds to do
Good
the
call.
same
Thank
thing
you,
with
thank you.
every single Straw Hat.
Yep.
And leaving Luffy for last.
It's so funny because now whenever I think of Kuma, it's pacifistas. I'm so used to it that I forgot the immensity when you see it for the first time going like, what the?
Yeah.
This guy a triplet? Like me. He's like me. But yeah, he's not.
And every time that it's like, because we don't know what happens when he touches them and people just literally disappear. Every time he comes up to a Straw Hat and Luffy's on the ground or like they're screaming like, no, please don't, and it hits them. It cuts to like an aerial shot looking up, and there's a bunch of bubbles,
And they
just
pop.
one pops one at a time, and pop, just more and more, and then finally it's just Luffy and Robin are the last ones left, and same thing. Robin's like, Luffy, please save me, pop.
Couldn't help. Yeah.
So yeah,
And that's when we see Luffy and his, he's literally there crying. He's like, I couldn't save
I couldn't
single
save my
one
crew.
of my
Yeah.
friends. How'd you feel in that moment, Tony, before like you knew anything else?
Dude, horrible. Because, like, once again, look at the extent he just did to save Robin. And I think that's why they left Robin from the end. It's way more meaningful, impactful, because it's like they literally survived a Buster Call, Ennis Lobby, and everything for Robin. And here they were, literal, like, inches away from each other. Like, that was the whole thing. It was like almost like the picture of David or whatever that painting is. The Hand of David, I think is what it's called. Like, where, like, their fingers are just about to touch. It was literally at that moment where Kuma launches Robin out to Cloud 9. But, also important, at one point, Kuma and Rayleigh go into it.
Talk.
But it's blank. There's no audio. It just shows them. And they kind of part ways really quick. And it's like, what's going on there?
Exactly.
I don't know. And then that's when Kuma starts going hard in the paint, taking out all the Straw Hats. And then that's where you finally see, now it's Luffy. He's crying, saying, I couldn't save my crew. And then that's when Kuma blips him. And that's how the episode ends. And it's like, what the heck? They just got done with trying to do it. Is this the effect of a celestial dragon? Like, this is crazy to me. What's going to happen? And then the next couple episodes are just showing that they're basically traveling in these, like, basically paw print bubbles, and they're just going in the different vast places of the world. Some go to the East Blue, some go to the West Blue. They're going to the different areas, and you start realizing that, or I guess I didn't realize, but it just seemed like seemingly random, right? So, for example, Zoro goes into an area where it's basically almost like Thrill Bark 2.0. It's this very gothic, cathedral-esque area.
Totally abandoned.
Totally abandoned.
The only like other life there,
Just monkeys.
outside of the castle, are these like monkeys that there must have been a great battle there because the monkeys had picked up like weapons and like some armor. Some of them look like they're wearing armor, but for the most part, no. They just kind of like picked it up and now are kind of barbaric and territorial.
And you do see one other person there.
But that's after
Perona comes in.
She there? Yeah, I guess she.
Yeah,
is.
because she helps him because he tries to lead him back to the castle. Because he's like, you idiot. Like, well, actually, technically, Zoro's still hurt from everything.
Yep.
Perona heals him.
Yep.
And that's when he tries to go out, and that's where he sees the monkeys.
Perona,
so it's a 2-episode banger.
Now I'm remembering, because Perona was sent there as well. Because when
Correct.
Kuma he first went in there to bamf all of the Straw Hats and throw the bark. He popped
did Perona.
away Perona. Didn't know what happened to her.
Yeah.
He sent her there as well.
Yeah, and Perona's the one who saved Zoro, but then Zoro was like, I gotta get back to my crew.
Yep.
And that's when he went out, met the gorillas and everything like that. Second one is, let's go Tony Chopper.
Yep.
Lands in a bird nest, doesn't know what's going on, and all of a sudden the birds are okay, feels like it's all good. He then tries to go down to the bottom, and there's a primitive human race there, and are just trying to attack him. They keep calling him a reindeer, and they want to eat him.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what's going to happen here? Usopp then goes into a seemingly endless torture of fighting.
Like the Jumanji jungle.
Jumanji jungle, exactly. And turns out there's really good food there, and there's only one other person. His name is Hercules, which, oh, by the way,
Master Hercules, the best.
favorite character. So far today, Kobe can go, Kobe, nah, he's not even on the thing. Usoppin. I just love Hercules, dude. Oh, he's just the best. No, Usoppin. I just love how he talks, and he's the man. All right, but yeah, that was Usopp, Tony Chopper, Zoro. Then we get Robin. Robin is on this snowy bridge. What's happening? Turns out there's some, basically there's this group of people that's getting charged with the world government to then create this bridge between islands, but they have no idea how much they have. It's endless work, a lot going on, very bad living conditions. Something else is something's happening there. Sanji. We get
the best one.
Yeah, what's the island called?
Oh God.
It's on the top of my head. It's literally in my head.
I can't remember. The whole thing's shaped like a heart.
Yeah. Either way, Sanji's in a thing where he thinks he's with a bunch of beautiful girls. Turns out they're guys, and he is now having to run past them and, kind of escape their grasp.
Yeah, because, the whole funny thing is Sanji, he's a
ladies'
ladies' man, and he's sent to this island in which is seemingly the fabled Amazon island of only women until he figures out they're all transgendered, essentially.
Yeah.
And they're trying to kiss him and put him in a dress, and he's like, nah.
Not happening.
And he runs, and he's chased.
Speaking of the all-women island, that's where Luffy goes. Luffy goes to that Amazonia. Yeah, so he's rocking there. Not quite sure. Once again, we're not sure why all these people are here. Yep. And then the very last one is Robin.
Nami.
Thank you. Nami is now on this cloud bubble thing with this really old wizard guy.
Weather Island.
Who knows what's going on there?
Frankie was sent to.
Oh, thank you.
Vegapunk's hometown.
Yeah, but all we know is it's just a snowy dress with a bunch of these robotic monsters that are trying to, once again, body horror-esque, try to take him over.
And then Brooke was sent.
Oh, yes, Brooke was sent to double arm people.
Yep.
I'm sorry, we don't know they're double arm yet. He just sent to an area where it's a bunch of these cultists who think they summon Satan.
Yeah, he appears in the middle of like a ritual circle. And they're like, "Oh my God, it worked!"
Yeah.
Lord Satan, tell us what to do.
Yeah, and he's just kind of stuck there thinking about what's going on. I think that's everybody, and that is Sabe Archipelago. So for all intents purposes, I think we just keep rocking and rolling. Let's just do the
and then we'll revisit that.
And then we'll revisit that really quick.
But it was interesting though, like you said, there are two moments where you kind of like. Especially after you see the crew's alive, right? You're like, why did Kuma do that? What is he up to? Because, he leans in and talks to Rayleigh, and as he's bamfing all the Straw Hats away, Kizaru's like, Kuma, what are you doing? Like,
he doesn't even know what Kuma's doing as a warlord.
Well, he's like, you're going to answer for this.
Yeah.
Right? Because he realized Kuma was essentially
disobeying orders.
He was saving the Straw Hats. Let's put it.
Removing them from the situation, but they didn't know where they were sending him either.
Yeah,
that was the other thing too. Only Kuma knows where they're going.
Correct.
So exactly, nice call. Yeah. So another, I think, important to note. Sorry, I forgot to bring this up at the battle, but this is when we start realizing that Luffy has the paper. What's that paper called?
Viver
card.
Life card, essentially.
He's got a Viver card of his brother, Ace, and starts to realize that it's kind of dwindling down.
Yeah.
And he starts getting these overarching world government news topics that Ace has been captured.
Well, he figures this out on the female island.
Was it the female island? I thought it was Sabaody.
No, he didn't hear about that at all. He was just worried about it.
Oh, he's talking with the grandma, and she brings up the newspaper.
Well, the crew is like, this is burning. Should we care about these things? Like, no,
it's Ace.
Ace's adventure is his adventure, right? I'm not going to interfere with it. Gets to the all-woman island, classic. Only women are allowed. So Luffy's chased down a little bit, especially after he accidentally lands directly into the bath of the Amazonian Empress, who's also happened to be a warlord, and he happens to see something that he shouldn't see. Two things, really.
Yeah. He sees the three things. The two things are normal and what not to see, but there's a third thing where you're like,
she
wait,
really cares about that one.
Yeah, she really cares about that one, which we'll get into that. But they get into a whole. Now we're following Luffy's line. Sorry, I did get ahead of myself. My apologies. Get into Luffy's line. Luffy then experiences that these women are unbelievable in their fighting tactics. They're literally with bows and arrows, but they're like their arrows are striking rocks and exploding them. It's like they're strong.
Yep.
So then they basically take them to a gladiatorial pit because now the Empress, which is called Boa Hancock, or leader of the land, I don't call her, she's not one of the emperors or the whatever. She's just a warlord at this point. But the whole point is that Boa Hancock, that's her realm. And she was like, you're going to be put to death. Then they go over to this fighting grounds. And just for context, the reason why the bath was so sacred is no one could come into that bath. The second there's bath time happening with the Boa Hancock.
Yep.
I can't remember her title. Is it Empress? I can't remember.
It is
Empress? Okay.
Yeah.
With the Empress, no one is even allowed within the village or anything. There is no contact. There is no anything. Like, it's very separated out. They want to make sure that, like, basically the shtick is she's basically like Medusa. If you stare at her for too long, you become stone.
Yeah.
Which she does have the capability of doing that, but that's her devil fruit. And there's something else there. But the point being is like, he interrupted her bath time, saw the one thing he shouldn't saw. They then go to the gladiatorial pits, keeps going fighting, ends up Luffy is doing well, ends up beating up all the people except for her last two main bodyguards.
Her sisters, technically.
They go to fight. Something happens. Parts of that individual's back is revealed. Luffy, ironically having the battle sense of his life, decides to cover it.
He sees the same symbol, knows it's a big deal, and he covers it.
Knows it's a big deal, covers it. Doesn't know what the symbol means, but then covers the symbol. And then right then, that's when Boa Hancock realizes, like, oh my gosh, like, there's something to this person.
Yep.
He just held our shame away from everybody.
Yep.
So that's when she then brings Luffy into the fold with the other two sisters and her and explains it of going, hey, by the way, just to let you know, like, we are trading slavery. These are basically our tattoos from it. And if it were to ever come out, this is like wildly shameful, very like everything about this we never want to recognize. Like, this is why we're so, careful with these tattoos.
Well, the first things first is, before they even got into the gladiator pit, she used her devil fruit ability, which is effective across all genders, really, because it's if you feel any sort of like lust or attraction to her. When she does it, you turn into stone.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
And
I forgot.
And she did it to Luffy, and Luffy didn't turn to stone. And she was like, what? Because Luffy it's not that he's, gay or anything. He's just like an asexual character, right?
Yeah.
Luffy's just
he's
narrow.
too focused.
He's on his one-track mind.
He's
the pirate
he's trying to be king of the pirates.
Yeah, and he's
not trying to
collecting
conquer all the women
friends.
on the world.
Yeah, he's
exactly.
collecting friends. And you're right, that is a big deal because I think moral of the story, kids, you just reject, you know what I mean? You say, I don't want, then that turns out that makes them really want you.
Yeah,
exactly.
So,
That's exactly what happens.
If you think Luffy's cool, he rejects the patriarchy,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Take that for what's wrong.
And it's just crazy the fact that, no joke, ended up happening where he's now rejecting her. You're right. And then, already she was like, what's going on with this kid? And then the gladiatorial pits happen.
Yep.
And then she now is even more so.
Well, she's so insecure because on her back is, like Tony said, the slave mark, which is the celestial dragon's mark. It's the dragon's mark, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And she was able to escape a long time ago, whatever. But no one knows that she's next slave except for her sisters. And I think the grandma, the ex-empress of the island.
Yeah. You must not know that.
But she shows Luffy, gives the whole spiel, and she's like, how does that make, like, what do you now think? And he's like, well, I hate the celestial dragons. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't feel like
I literally just punched one of them, and they're like, "What?"
Yep. And she gets like all flustered, and she falls in love with Luffy. She actually is like, "I'm sick." It's like the Empress is on her deathbed. Like, what is going on? And then
turns out it's just the sickness of the heart.
The ex-Empress realized, like, oh my gosh, she's in love. This is
you're lovesick. Yeah. He remembered my name.
I just thought, Theorycraft would Hancock be able to turn Bond Clay into stone?
I don't know.
She can turn anyone into stone as long as they feel something for her.
But would Bond Clay feel something for Boa Hancock?
Well, I think it's one of those things where like he would appreciate, but there's like, but it's like what depth? Because like he would appreciate, he would like appreciate her like her ability, her beauty. I don't know. You're right.
She literally turned one of So there was a.
By the way, also, just sorry, crack one more thing. A swan never dies.
First of all, we'll get
We'll
to that.
talk about that.
But one of the female, because all of them are female, but one of the
It's so
Amazons
funny. We are literally
helped
almost
Luffy.
2 hours in, and
We're
we haven't
going-
even
we're going
got
deep.
him
We're going
down. Oh, I love it. Keep on.
Anyways, she helped Luffy, and she was turned to stone in the gladiator pit, right?
I like to think Bon Clay
So
would be
that's an
also.
But
He's one of
I
the
feel
real
like
ones.
he would.
There's no way.
I feel like he would because he also, he liked Nami and all those things. He liked Sanji and all that kind of stuff. I feel like he would. I really do.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Right? I feel like any normal person would.
God, I want to talk
get
so
turned.
much about Von Clay.
We're
All right,
getting
let's
there.
skip this. All right, well,
Okay, we're
Luffy
done
did
with
his,
that, right?
Amazon Lily, he conquers
It's
the
great,
women.
Yeah.
right? It's
then,
true.
then he gets the update. Oh, Ace has been captured. I need to get there now.
Yep.
Well, who just is casually swimming through the comm belt because he's like the biggest A on planet Earth?
Or is
Yeah.
that wait? Does that happen later? Or is that now? That's later.
Oh, yeah.
That's after the war.
No, because he comes and takes Luffy, doesn't?
No.
No, this
That's
is when he
after
wants
the
to
war.
train him at the end.
So what was I gonna say? Yeah, Luffy again. He said Ace's adventure is his adventure, whatever. But he gets news because the grandma's going through papers, and she starts saying stuff about Ace. And when he realizes it's Ace, he freaks out because Ace has been captured and he's being put to death, and he's gonna be executed.
Sorry, really quick. Joe,
Now-
your thing is
Yep.
at the
What was I gonna
end
say?
of all that.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah,
But no, I
that's
do love
Yeah.
that.
because Empress Hancock gets summoned.
Yep, there it
to
is.
Go to Marineford. So Luffy,
She was like, "There's no way. I
Yeah,
will
so-
never
so
answer a
Lu-
summons."
So Luffy's tells her, "Oh, you're going," and she's like, "Oh God, whatever you say."
yeah.
And so
I
he-
require 30 tons of food every single day for my love.
He's a stowaway and
And a marine ship going
to Impel Down, and Impel Down is the one of the three areas that Paul had mentioned earlier with Ennie's Lobby, Impel Down, and then the Marine headquarters, which are kind of like
Is that Marine Ford? Is Marine Ford and Marine headquarters? Is that
Yeah.
the same?
It is
Okay,
the same
all right.
thing.
Yeah, I never know. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
he's
a prison.
going to Impel Down, and Bo Hancock makes it like, hey, before I go to Marineford, you would, because there's like Marines that are like escorting her, and they're like, would you mind if we stop at Impel Down? I always kind of wanted to see it, sort of.
Yeah.
So,
I heard there's this vagabond called. Well, because they're nervous. The reason why they called the warlords in is they were nervous because they knew the implications of they're about to execute Firefist Ace. They were thinking that Whitebeard was going to affect it, so they wanted all their might they could
Correct.
at the thing. But you're right; they stop at Impel Down first
Yep.
because she was like, "Let's check it out."
And
So I'm sorry, I jumped again.
Well,
You're
matter of fact,
totally right there,
The
Joe.
world
my
government
bad.
knew that they were going to get a response from one of the four emperors, Whitebeard, right?
Yeah.
And again, emperors are a huge deal. So they called all forces they could to Marineford because, we're about to go mano a mano. We're
Yeah.
fighting hard.
Yeah, Joe, you're right. My bad. I interjected. My bad. You're right.
problem.
Right.
So that's the context of like why they're getting summoned is because the world government knows. Yeah, we're if we're about to execute one of the like captains of the Whitebeard pirates, and we know his affinity for like his crew, like he calls them his sons. So they know they're going to need a big response. So that's why they summon the warlords. So she goes, she's like, hey, let's stop at Impel Down, drops Luffy off, sneaks him in or whatever.
I love
So-
that scene. Get into my shirt. Oh. And Luffy's like, whatever.
Yeah, I climb a little higher and then
Yeah.
just.
Oh, because you're right, because the main security lady gets frozen to stone.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep, because she's in there to check Boa Hancock, so she turns her into stone, lets Luffy
And
out, and then turns her back.
and the video snail goes to stone too.
Oh, yeah.
So this goes across animatron. You know what I mean? It goes hard.
Yeah.
So,
So
very, very
Impel
good
Down
movie.
being essentially the
Azkaban.
the Marines' prison,
Mm-hmm.
and it's completely underwater. Is like how they are able to keep it so secure. If you escape, like you're surrounded by water.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these devil fruit users can't go anywhere.
There's nowhere to go.
And it's based on levels. I think it goes to 5 levels, or maybe there's a
It's known as
6?
4 levels, but there is a secret 5th layer,
okay.
which no one talks about, but it's almost agreed to be there, and that's where Ace and high big players are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether they're known or
Yeah,
not.
there's like
Which is
4
funny because there's 7 layers of hell.
Yeah, there's
they kept
4
recommending hell, but they only went up to 5.
Correct. It's like they're to the public, there's like, oh yeah, there's like they put the worst guys in number 4. Actually, they put the actual worst guys, the ones you don't know about, on level 5.
Yeah.
So Luffy is now making his way through Impel Down.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, he runs into Buggy,
Who's there?
who is also in prison, and Mr. 3,
Who's also in
who
prison, yeah.
was part of Crocodile's crew and is the one with the wax fruit that did that ridiculous move with the birthday cake, trying to like, it's so moronic.
Yeah.
Well, what are the 4 levels called again? Is the first level just, I forget the name of this, like Torture Hell. The second level is Burning Hell. And then
it's the Blades. One of them is the Blade Forest.
Yeah, but I forget all the names because one's Cold Hell, one's the Burning Hell.
That's what I'm saying. It's like representative of the 7 hells, what people talk about. Which, by the way, really quick, the only thing I do want to mention is it's so crazy how much he takes from, I don't know if they're necessarily Western. They might be Eastern as well, but these old stories, right? So, for example, like the 7 Layers of Hell, this Medusa aspect, which is Boa Hancock, this, I never thought about it. It's called Aesop's Fables. I was upstairs. I was Pierre has a collection of books, and people got us books for his birthday, stuff like that. And I pulled out this book, and it says Aesop's Fables. Like, is that why they just called Usopp? Because he just says fables all the time. And he's like Pinocchio because his nose is really long, because he always says, like, so there's like these very Western-esque influences that come into the story. But yeah, that's why I was like, the Impel Down's exact, like, the warden is basically a demon. They're it's all these hell references. Right. And so I don't remember all of them, but you're right. There's like basically this room of torturement. Then there's the, this hot flame, whatever. I think this goes torturement, and that has the blade trees. And then I think it's the
blade trees are later, because the torture one, the first level is pretty basic. They're just monsters. That's what it is. The first one,
it's like the Minotaur.
It's like the Beast Hell or something, because they're just like,
oh, it's bestial.
There's monsters or whatever.
So bestial, hot, cold.
I think go blade then cold.
Blade then cold. Either way,
Crimson Hell, Wild Beast Hell, Starvation Hell, Blazing Hell, Freezing Hell.
Is it 7? There's 7.
New Kama Land.
Yeah. It's not 7.
And then Eternal Hell.
I'm looking at your screen.
There's like 7.
I think there's different parts in a level.
Yeah, but
they
considered them, there might be multiple on the same level. But
you're right, because Burning and Starvation were the same.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because that's when they're like going in. Yeah.
So he took inspiration from like Dante's Inferno.
Yep.
For that. So yeah, Luffy's now making his way, runs into Mr. 3, Buggy. Did he also run into Bon Clay?
That's in the Freezing Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he frees him for the freezing.
He runs into Buggy and Mr. 3, and they're like, "Great, let's get out of here. Let's break out." And Luffy's like, "No, I'm going deeper.
I'm breaking in.
I'm breaking in.
Come on."
But then they realize that they can't go up because everything's already going crazy. Like the alarms are going, and they're like, "We'll keep going." And then they're like, "The second we get an opportunity, we're gonna break away from this guy." And they keep falling into these weird things where like the ground crumbles underneath them. They have to keep following Luffy no matter what.
Yeah, and
they find Bon Clay, and they're like, "Well, we need a key." And here's Mr. 3, makes the key off his hand, releases Bon Clay. So now we have the whole group of Bon Clay.
Well, technically, Bon Clay is separate from Mr. 3 and Buggy.
Right? Oh, no, I know, but doesn't he use his key?
Not in that instance, because they get separate, right? Because they get separated in the Freezing Hell. Buggy and Mr. 3 don't go to the Freezing Hell.
Those two break off because they are trying to actually escape. They're not trying to go any further.
Oh, so then he must just get a key from someone else. I knew Mr. 3. I'm so sorry. I know where Mr. 3's key comes in. Never mind. Keep going.
The thing is, at some point in these hells, right, people aren't really like locked. In the first hell itself, the first layer,
people are in cells. It looks very much like a prison.
Yeah, but it's pretty easy to get out of it. But people just don't leave their cell because of all the monsters, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the Freezing Hell, it's almost the same thing. You can be locked up. It also doesn't really matter because the whole point is you're stuck there and you're freezing to death, right? Yep. So who really cares? So he meets Bon Clay that way, and Bon Clay saves him when Luffy's hurt down there. Mm-hmm. But Joe, sorry, continue. You're saying some things about it.
So makes their way through. They come into. Do they get to that level? 4.5 in between level 4 and 5. Is that before he reaches Ace, or is that after he reaches Ace?
That's before. Yeah, because they never.
So-
Luffy and Ace never see each other
Correct.
at Impel
Ace-
Down.
Ace is level.
Yeah.
So-
So what ends up happening is at the snow, that's when they're getting overwhelmed by the wolves.
Yes.
And Luffy's trying to save Bon Clay, and at that point, he's already been poisoned, and so he can't do much. Bon Clay's trying to save him. Bon Clay's doing like basically protecting him from another set of wolves, but these wolves are like overtaking him. That's when Ivanka?
Emperor Ivankov.
Yeah.
So-
Ivankov.
To back up a second, Luffy and Bon Clay, they meet up. Great. I don't know. They leave the freezing hell at some point. I don't know they went up or down, but now they're like in the burning or somewhere near it. Maybe this. I don't really know.
Correct.
They're somewhere else.
They're in the burning at this point
Yeah.
because that is when they run into the
The
warden.
Yes. Which, by the way,
The
Magellan.
warden just rips them.
good on them for finally showing IBS in a light that matters. You
'Cause-
know,
Well, again, this entire
it's just
time,
funny because he's a venom fruit and just poops all the time. I thought it was really funny.
Well, so keep this in mind, right? Luffy just got his butt handed to him, and Sabaody, whatever it's pronounced,
Symbiotic,
right? Went to Amazon, little to no break, figured out Ace is in trouble, little no break, stowawayed and Impel Down, and he's been fighting by himself alone, essentially, through the levels. It's been easy to do that because it's designed the other way. It's harder to break out than in. But then they run into the warden who has the poison fruit. And he's super strong anyways. So he poisons the crap out of Luffy. Luffy's real hurt. He's real down. Bon Clay saves him. They escape from the warden. They get accosted by the wolves.
Yep.
Bon Clay barely beats him. And that's when
Or Bon Clay falls to them. That's when Ivanka comes in and saves him.
No, because he drags Luffy to the mystical whatever, and that's when they get found by Ivanka, I think.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, like, the wolf battle happens.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like...
But
I think he either goes a little bit or he passes out at that battle, but
Bon Clay,
gets...
Bon Clay passes out after they get found, and the first thing Luffy says, even though Luffy looks pretty bad, he's like, please save my friend.
Yeah,
Like, do
save
whatever
Bond.
you
Save
can.
Bond. Whatever you do,
Yeah.
save Bond. Don't worry about me. Bond boy.
Yeah, and for context,
By the way, what is it in dubbed? Or sorry, subbed?
it's Bond Boy or Bond something. I think.
Did they say Bonchan?
Bonchan?
Oh my
Luffy
god.
does,
That's
but-
the one thing I can't get over. Like, the dubbed is so funny with that. The Bond boy, Straw boy. I love when they say boy.
But we learn Yvonne is actually the emperor or empress of the basically transgender island
Gosh,
that Sanji's
what's the
on.
island called? I'll look it up.
It's like Peach Island
Yeah.
is like what it is in like the dub version,
Maybe.
and then the subbed is like something that doesn't like, it's
the translation. or
yeah,
anything.
it's whatever the translation is. It's nothing like that would
But
be that memorable.
yeah, that was an interesting scene when they're found because we learn, Luffy's poisoned pretty bad, right? He's dying.
Legit dying. This is like the strongest poison
Yep.
venom.
There's
Like,
no antidote.
There is no antidote. Yeah, it's like if you mess with the warden and you get hit with that,
Even one drop
Yeah,
is
like,
and they do
you're
technically
done.
have an antidote, but it's not readily available. Yeah.
And then Yvonne's like, I can save you, but you're down for the count for a little bit. And
It'll
Luffy's
take literally years off your life.
well that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry,
You
I'm sorry,
could
you're
save him
right.
the normal way, right? But you're down for the count. Like you're not going to make it in time because Luffy said his whole thing. But Luffy's like, I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And
If you make
Yvonne-
me able to heal me and then get me up right away.
Yvonne is the hormone fruit user.
Yeah.
Right? Fun fact, we learned that Yvonne can change people's genders, which is interesting because we see him switch back and forth. But anyways, he pumps Luffy full of hormones. And he's like, this is, first of all, he actually says this is like a, ride or die situation. I can do this, but it's going to take 10 years off your life and you still might not live.
correct.
And
It's
also,
not-
we
it's
don't
not
even know-
guaranteed you'll
yeah.
come out of it. Yeah.
And this is also when Bond Boy wakes up and realizes what happens and he cheers Luffy on. Get past it.
You got it.
You got
Straw
it.
boy.
Luffy. Straw boy.
Because
Yeah, I
Luffy's
love
yelling
it.
in the chamber for hours.
No,
like,
Bond
screaming.
Clay is screaming at Luffy to wake up. Yeah.
Well, Luffy is screaming in pain for hours.
Oh,
too.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
heard-
Bond Clay never leaves him. And then
Never
he gets
leaves him.
everyone else after hours and hours. They finally join in on it.
Yep.
And that's when Luffy breaks out of the spell.
Yep. And they
He's
all,
good to go.
they're all cheering for Luffy and everything. And now here comes a big pivotal moment at least in, the story and understanding how, other characters' reasonings like Yvonne and Kuma, something we skipped in our description of Water 7, which I let slide until now, is right after the battle, they had their nice little rest moment building the ship, whatever. Luffy's grandpa comes rolling in
Garp
to see Luffy because he heard about this stuff, right?
Kobe and Tail.
Kobe was in there as well. Seen with Helmeppo,
Helmeppo,
who was a minor villain in an earlier arc.
Allegedly.
The son of Captain
Morgan. Yeah.
Axehand Morgan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Garp casually drops that, hey, I heard you met your dad earlier. And Luffy's like, first of all, Luffy's like, I have a dad? He's I have a father? And then he's like, yeah, you met him back in Logetown. And he's so confused what you're talking about. And he's like, then he finally remembers who it is the guy who's in the cloak.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, your dad's
Against
name
Smoker.
is Dragon, Monkey D. Dragon. Mm-hmm. And everyone flips out but Luffy. Even the Marines, everyone loses it. And Luffy's like, what's the big deal? Turns out Dragon is the leader of the Revolutionary Army.
Yep.
Right? So
I see why you're bringing this up. Good call.
There's like three big powers, right? There's pirates, there's Marines, the government, and then there's the rebels. And he's the leader of the rebel army. So he's actually the most notorious criminal, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
He might have the highest bounty of any person living or former. I think
easily.
We haven't seen it though. I'm going to throw that out there. We haven't seen.
No,
Dragon's
we've
bounty.
not. But the way they talk about it, it's a big deal. Pirates are scum. Under scum is these rebels.
Yeah, the pirates are scum, but they're not actively trying to dismantle the government.
Exactly.
But the rebels are.
And here's Luffy casually doing it as a pirate.
Yeah. So we
have no knowledge.
We have the father being a rebel. We have the grandfather being essentially power level admiral in the Marines.
But not an admiral.
And then we have the son being a high tier pirate coming into play. So it's
Yeah.
really funny to see that dichotomy. Anyways, though, Yvonne is actually a general of the Revolutionary Army.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy name drops Dragon because I forget exactly how it came into play. But he's like, oh yeah, Dragon's my dad. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And then he keeps saying Ace is his son or his
brother.
brother. So Yvonne instantly jumps to the conclusion that, oh, Ace is Dragon's son too. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way,
and they
isn't
both have
true.
a middle name D as well.
Yep.
And they don't have the same last name, but they're like, that's weird. But surely you guys
Well, he
keep saying
doesn't-
your brothers.
No one knows Ace's last name. Right?
Oh, I know, but
Well, actually, that's true.
they say
it's
Porcus T.A.'s. Yeah, they say Porcus T.A.'s. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a weird thing of like, wait, why? How are you guys siblings? But she automatically just goes, I cannot let our leader son die.
Yeah.
I don't.
Especially
I don't
on
need
my
it to make
lap.
sense to me. The fact
Yep.
that you're saying that's your brother, okay, I'm
I'm in.
100%
I'm in.
in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, well, that couldn't let Ace die. You couldn't let Luffy go on and die. I got to follow you. And high chance Dragon's going to be there. And Yvonne's like, what is the world government doing, right? They're attracting heat from an emperor, but they're also attracting heat from the rebel army. Like, this is going to be huge. This is way more battle than I thought. Than
It's
he
like
thought it was
it's
going
like
to
the
be.
worst or best in your depending on your perspective, like person that they could have caught and like planned a public execution because it's they made the decision to do this, to do the announcement, to like wait for a certain day, to have it like nationally televised on all the transponder snails.
Correct.
So they're making a big spectacle out of it for the reason they want it to have a very large impact.
Yeah. It's literally a fulcrum point. I mean, you can't even.
Correct. It's an event that they are deeming as relevant, and it's kind of, they want it to be, if you look at it like a book, the start of this new era, this chapter was the public execution of Goldie Roger. And they're like, look, we want to end this pirate era, so we need to do something emphatic and let it be known to everyone. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to execute Ace. Mm-hmm. And it's known that Ace is...
They drop it at the execution platform.
Okay.
So
they know, but you don't as the viewer up until you get to that point. But they're killing, Goldie Roger's son.
Mm-hmm. They announce it on the platform.
So that's why they want to have this big spectacle.
And that's why everyone's like, wait.
End the pirate era.
Wait, Goldie Roger's son? Then how are you guys even related? There's no... And then they're like, oh, no, it turns out we're brothers because we shared a bunch of sake.
Yeah, we shared a cup of sake. Yeah. Like, oh, my God.
Madam. Yeah.
They grew up together, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, well, yeah, but no. That context is perfect because that explains why Ivanica is so... Yeah, it's why she's so involved.
Yeah. Well,
She?
he. At the moment, it's a he.
you're right.
At the
call.
moment, it's a he, right?
Yeah. Very big head.
Yeah, but Ivanka is living in the cracks level 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Between 5 and 4. No one knows. Honestly, there's actually a legend. That's why
There's
Von
a bunch of
Clay
soldiers that just
was
disappeared.
looking for Von Clay was looking for Ivanka.
Yeah.
There's a legend that Ivanka just disappeared. No one knows what happened.
Yeah.
Anyways, he rushes out with Luffy. They break down to level 5, the fabled level 5, which there's no torture or anything happening down there. Everyone's just locked in a cell, nice and neat, because these are just high-level players. Torture's really not even going to do anything to these guys.
Yeah.
Turns out, unfortunately, they missed it. Ace was
Just
brought
by a
up,
hair.
and Ace even heard that Luffy was in the prison on the transponder snail. He's like, Luffy's here? That idiot.
Yeah.
And he
it's
tries to
classic.
get out too, but he can't.
It's a classic Robin. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you're throwing your life away for me. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I should be dead anyways. But it's also a big deal because who's in level 5?
There's
though?
some heavy hitters in there.
Big hitters.
So
Big.
we meet another. This is a former warlord that is now imprisoned. Jinbei of the fishmen.
Technically, he is a current warlord,
But he's
like in timeout.
Yeah, he's like he didn't want to be, kind of like Boa Hancock didn't want to be summoned. He's like, hey, I'm not gonna join your fight against Whitebeard. And they're like, okay, well, we're putting you in prison.
Yep.
So he is down there. A former warlord that we had previously seen, Crocodile,
is down there.
Survived. And in there.
Who else we see? San Juan Wolf, I believe, is on that level.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So San Juan Wolf, we don't know much about him.
Yeah.
It's just he's known. This is like another, like, from the previous era, because he's been in prison for a long time. Just another, like, really, really bad guy. Not on the level of, Whitebeard or Gold Roger or, these other people who are emperors or Yonkos in their own era. But he was another big player back in the day. It's just another person they have down there. Siryu of the Rain.
Yep.
I think is also on level 5.
Yep. Well, how many were there? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe or so. So we'll just touch on this real quick and not really probably talk about it later. But once in the chaos of Luffy breaking out of Impel Down, Blackbeard, a warlord who became a warlord by capturing Ace, selling him to the world government, and he did all this.
Kind of how he starts all this off.
He did all this to get the label of warlord so he could visit Impel Down without being stopped. He just did it at perfect timing because he didn't realize what was happening. He was like, awesome, there's all this chaos.
He's like, where are all these guards?
Yeah.
They're going down further levels to chase Luffy. Meanwhile, he's like casually walking through the levels, like,
Yep.
This is easy.
because he's like doing like a recruiting tour, like for
That's
the
why
for
he
the
did this.
NCAA.
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
all right, well, you're a 4-star, you're 5. I'll take the 5-star.
Yeah. And but sorry, just to go even more back, why is Ace going even after Blackbeard? What's happening with you, boy?
I mean, it's crazy because Blackbeard was a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. There is.
Would you even met him before that? Even when back before Skypiea, it was in the village
You
before
did.
Skypiea. I can't remember what it's called, but that's the
Jaya.
first time you meet Jaya. Yeah.
Yep.
First time you meet Blackbeard, where they're like, the One
Eating
Piece is
pie,
real.
yeah.
The second that pirates don't treasure or dream of treasure is the day that
And
happened.
then, well, he went after Luffy too to catch Luffy because he was going to turn Luffy in and become a warlord.
Yeah, he didn't realize.
Exactly.
He didn't realize
Ships.
when he was at the bar with them, like, oh, this is the Straw Hat with the big bounty or whatever.
Yeah, but that's when you first meet him. But sorry, just for context. So it seems like he wants to become a warlord at some point. But also, it's really important. Why does Ace feel so
Because
entranced?
He murdered a commander. So there's 12 commanders in the Whitebeards. This is one of them. He murdered one of the commanders for a devil fruit he found.
The shadow.
The dark fruit, which is the devil fruit Blackbeard has been looking for this entire time.
So much like Sanji finding the invisible fruit. Now, granted, that user already ate it, but it was a scene where that one of the captains, what do you want to call those commanders, he had the fruit in his hands, and he's been studying it. It's the first time ever that we saw someone going, "I know what that fruit is.
Yep.
I want that fruit."
Yep. So
First
he
time.
kills him, takes it, eats it, leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Whitebeard, though, the captain, he's like, no, we're not going, because normally, you know, this is a big slight. Like, you go kill these people who do this. But Whitebeard, for some reason, maybe he knows what's what, he's like, no one's going after Teach.
Yeah.
No one's going after Blackbeard. No one's going to do it. But Ace was like,
Also, it's
I
important
have
too.
to do
They're
this.
all brothers. Like
Yeah.
Whitebeard treats
I have
his
to
sons.
avenge,
Yeah.
the honor of essentially our family.
Because he was
my
subordinate.
father. Yeah.
Blackbeard's a subordinate of Ace.
yeah. He
So
was
he
like,
feels
this is,
responsible.
yeah, he was doubly responsible in that way. So he tracks down Blackbeard, and he's like, Teach, you know, you messed up. I'm going to take you down. And then, you know, he's like,
Logia v. Logia.
he's like, you know, how great would it be, though, if Fireface Ace joined my crew? Join my crew. I'm going after this, you know, new up-and-coming kid named Straw Hat Luffy. We can take him down together, turn him in. It's going to
Yeah.
be great. And then
Because he'll be
Ace-
the warlord.
Yep,
Yeah,
Ace
we
stands
can
up and
join
is
it.
like, well, now I definitely can't let you leave. Because,
oh, by the way,
Luffy's my brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And then they go fight, and Ace loses. But
Yeah. And Ace gets captured, gets torn in, and now Blackbeard is now warlord. And now we're
Recruiting
back
Express.
in. Yeah, now we're back in.
Fast forward back to
yeah.
Impel Down, and
It's
he's-
so funny how complex this show.
It really is.
So
And that's the thing,
funny.
it's like they-
because we're not back. By the way,
people talk about
granted,
like, oh, there's fillers. There's like the episodes where the pacing's so bad, nothing happens. It's like there are so many intricate storylines that legitimately to tell, the tale, even just up to this point, episode 522, in a clear like narrative, like point by point. It's almost impossible because there's so many things that happen concurrently.
Yep.
And you also don't find out until later. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
While this was happening, also this was happening. So it's like it's very tough to keep it concise and not have callbacks because that's what the show does. It has callbacks. It gives motive or perspective to like characters or why they act a certain way, but you don't know it in the moment. So then it becomes clearer later. So like that's a really great feat of the writing for Oda to be able to do is like to keep it complex enough that it's not just a straight line narrative, but not so crazy overly complex that it loses perspective or it loses its ability to hold you.
It's almost like Naruto has maybe I shouldn't talk about Naruto, but yeah, there's a one track idea, and then there's like Elden Ring where it's like literally I need a linear algebra degree, a degree in linear algebra just to figure out the systematic equation that gets me to this lore, this story. Like I have to talk to this person and go back to this and do this, and it's so complex and so hard to understand. Like he hits a sweet spot where it's just complex enough, but it's also just simple enough. And then we're doing, it might seem like we're calling back a lot. It's not like we're like, some of it is we forget a little bit, but the other part is like, no, like it's important because you have to get to the action. And then you're just like, wait, no, by the way, when this happens, this is important because of this. And so it's like, that's why we're peeling back the onion so much. It's like the only way to explain it. I know how, unless we spent 3 days before this episode podcast, actually learning it.
We don't learn about this until later, and I'm just going to mention it now. But
it's very scary when you say stuff like that.
This is why Kuma did everything he did on the island.
Correct.
You learn Ivanka is a command or as a rebel. It's one of the captains of the rebel army. We're gonna learn that Kuma is one as well.
Dr. Vegapunk.
He has a lot of stuff going on with him we won't even touch on. But when he first met Luffy and the crew in the bark, he knew exactly who they were.
Yes.
Would he have actually ended up killing Luffy? I'm not sure. But the reason why he was so hard and kept being so hard on Zoro and the crew is because he was showing them, like, this is the world.
Yeah.
Right? And
Cruelty
if Zoro died,
is how
he died. Like, that's just how it goes, man.
Yep.
So he just kept doing that. But in the end, when stuff was hitting the fan, he's like, they all need to go. So that's when he whispered to Rayleigh, he's like, I'm with the Revolutionary Army. I'm, like, going to get rid of them.
Yeah,
right?
They need to get stronger.
Yeah, so he sent them all to different places.
Yeah. To get stronger. So, absolutely, Paul, let's jump on that really quick, but let's get through the recruitment phase of Blackbeard going on and be like, you get released, because there's two sects that happen. They either join Buggy because they think he's the god incarnate.
Literally, so many people are getting freed.
We'll talk
from
about that
Impel
too.
Down. It is insane.
It's bad. It's the worst breakout in history.
Anything that like Luffy gets tied to is the worst thing in history, pretty much.
Yeah.
and like the majority of like the lower characters, like the people that unnamed whatever that are breaking out, majority of them are going with Buggy. They're kind of this group mentality of just like, hey, we'll win with numbers.
Yep.
And the like, I think he's not even self-appointed. I think they just like he fails upwards. Similar to how like
1,000%.
similarly that like Spandam somehow like failed upwards to be a person with a buster call.
Yeah.
It's like, how does somebody so incompetent like get in charge of so many like people? The same way with Buggy. Buggy is now like the de facto head of this like, group of people trying to escape versus
Mr. 3, who's like actually doing stuff, and
Yeah,
they keep assigning it to Buggy. They're like, he saved us, and they're like, and he's like, wait,
Well,
are you
random
kidding
things-
me? Like,
random
he had
things
no idea
happen.
what was happening.
Yeah, random things happen, and they're like,
They
God,
attribute
Buggy or
it-
something.
yeah,
Like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
who does Blackbeard actually recruit outside of Siriu?
Everyone you just mentioned.
Was
really.
Jesus D. Burgess in prison?
No. So there was 4 people in prison. I don't remember all their names.
Another person.
It was
But there
the
was a
previous
fish-
warden.
There was a fish lady. There was the deputy warden,
like
Shirley
Quinn or
River
something.
Wayne. No, it was the deputy warden.
No, I'm talking about the fish lady. It was someone with a key.
Oh yeah. Anyways, those 2. There is.
Oh, is she like the really ugly lady?
Yeah. You can't say that.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right. Sorry, there was a fish man, but it was a lady. Then there's that ugly-ish lady.
Yeah, but she gets really mad. Like,
There's
And
no
the
ish about it.
giant,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is the worship sinker or something, or the worship Juan, the worship or something.
Oh, San Juan.
That's San Juan.
San Juan the wolf.
yeah.
You're
That's
right.
why when you said it, I googled it. That's why I looked at you, Joe, and I was like, okay, I see where you're
So
going.
yeah,
with
he
this. But yeah,
gets those
yeah,
4,
giant or whatever.
and then there's 2 more I think that were just outside, right? The guy on that horse, Jesus Berg. Yes.
But the
Oh, and
sniper, they brought in.
Yeah, so there's 3 that was
yeah.
outside. He got 4 from the. From
Either way, he's
from the
getting
5.
high level people. Like where Buggy's getting 1s and 2s, maybe 3s.
Like
he's getting
hundreds of 1s and 2s. This guy's got like 4 or 5s that could like wipe out the entire prison.
just wrecked.
Yeah.
And it's really important because he didn't think it would be such a cakewalk. So he is, going through it, figuring all of it out.
And it is a cakewalk up until he runs into Magellan.
Mm-hmm.
And Magellan's like, I literally do not have time for you. I've got so much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Here, have some of this. And just like, venom attack.
Just
like
douses him.
just douses him. And
Because surely not 2 people could live past this.
correct.
Because in his mind, like, he's literally killed all these people, and they're like, there's no way they have the antidote.
Yep. Well, he defeats them all, right? Sure.
Well,
the
that's what I'm
warden defeats
saying.
them all.
Yeah. But surely not 2 people would survive for this, and here we go.
Now the-
Sniper guy gets some antidote, and then...
I thought it was the ex-warden who said
sorry. The ex-warden gets the antidote.
Or the
and heals
deputy
them
warden,
all.
my apologies.
Yeah,
Ex-deputy
and
warden.
heals all of them, yeah.
Yep.
So, the warden, his failsafe Hail Mary God mode power is, effective, but apparently not so effective because Luffy and now Blackbeard and Crow have survived it. So not only has only a handful of people escaped Impel Down, now it's in the thousands. And the people who beat Magellan has been 0. Now it's been Luffy and now Blackbeard.
Well,
Crow.
it's
beats a
Magellan
strong
was
term,
never really
but-
defeated, but yeah, I mean,
like beat through the poison.
and well, his whole thing with the poison is
Venom.
right? He's
Sorry,
an
different.
executor and a punisher, so his OP poison is like, you're gonna suffer and die, right? It's not an instant death because that's not what he made it to be. It's like you're gonna suffer the most and then you're gonna die, right? That's what they have. That's why Luffy had time to get saved. That's why Blackbeard had time to get saved when neither was supposed to happen. But yeah, they it's like 2 star-crossed lovers. Luffy and Blackbeard cross each other.
Yeah.
Luffy keeps on moving.
Literally
Blackbeard
no
keeps
time
on
for
moving.
you.
Yeah, he's like, we have no time for this. Even though Blackbeard said, he's like, I'm the one who did this to Ace.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
But he doesn't matter.
Yeah,
he
and
doesn't care
Ace-
how it happened. He
And I was
needs to
coming
go.
for you, but Ace, I got him instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Jinbei is now with the
Let's talk
crew.
about Jinbei.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that was the tour of the Blackbeard. So Blackbeard's got his guys. They're now leaving.
That was after Luffy, though.
Correct. When Luffy's in there,
Luffy's coming up. He's coming down.
Ace is not there. He's like, oh my God, now we got to go to Marineford. He says, I'm going to go rescue Ace. Jinbei says, hey, if you're going to go rescue Ace, that is something I will fight for. Please take me with you.
Yeah.
and I can't remember what exactly they said, but just like a level of trust was there. So they bring Jinbei.
Well, because he trusted Ace and he wants to help Ace, but also Ace has when he's talking to Jinbei, he was like, "Hey."
Yeah. And then
Ace told Jinbei about Luffy, but Jinbei doesn't respect Luffy.
Exactly.
Yet,
Yeah.
right?
And then there's one other person that they bring, and this
Crocodile.
Yeah.
And this is one of the examples of where the the sub absolutely just clowns on the dubbed is at the very end of the episode. He's where he Crocodile, I think, steps out of the shadow of the cell, and he just goes, "Mugiwara."
Oh.
Yeah, does he has a super deep voice. It means Straw Hat or whatever.
Yeah.
Versus the dubbed version where he says it in English, it just doesn't have quite the same impact.
He is more, instead of a dark tone, it's very much like what are you doing? It's very casual, like a Straw Hat, and he just starts laughing. Yeah. It's not the same.
And you may ask,
it's like Toby versus Madara, same.
Well, the listeners may ask, why on earth would you free Crocodile? Because Luffy did all that work to stop Crocodile and all that kind of jazz. Yeah. He freed Crocodile for two reasons. The lesser reason, he needed firepower to get out.
Correct.
Because now you're fighting up.
Yep.
The second reason is because Ivanka was like, Straw Boy, trust me, let's bring him with us. I can keep him under control. I know his secret or something.
Well, because he also didn't want to leave. He was also kind of at I don't know if he
Crocodile wanted to get out.
Well, no. He wanted to, sorry, when I say leave, in the context
he didn't
of...
care about saving Ace. He just wanted out of the prison.
Yeah, he just wanted out of the prison. And that's when Ivanka talked to him and was like, hey, by the way, whisper, I don't know anything.
I got
me, Tony.
Essentially.
Yeah, I've got you.
Yeah.
You're going to come with us.
We still don't know what the big secret is, but there's a huge
I do like
fan
Crocodile
theory.
Mixture 3 too.
There's a huge fan theory that Crocodile is actually a woman who was transformed into a man.
Right, and all it's based on is the fact that Ivankov knows the secret. Well, Ivankov's power is a hormone fruit.
Yeah.
So he's able to swap genders essentially, for himself, and he could use the hormone. Fingers that he has or whatever to inject it into somebody else to do it. So it's that's the theory that that's
enough
Crocodile's big secret, because he kind of blushes when he's I know I'll tell your secret. He's like, oh okay, I'll listen.
It's
So
but it's kind of crazy because there's a lot into that. He does a lot for a secret like that. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the actual secret is, but interesting that you don't know yet already. But yeah, we can go into fan theories in a little bit. I mean, stuff that I'm kind of curious about, but
right.
But yeah. Anyways, we push past that. They get out Impel Down. Just like Ennis Lobbies, actually, and Marineford and Impel Down, they all have giant gates guarding the entrance and exit. The gate issue is solved in Ennis Lobby, no big deal. But this one, it's kind of been dropped through the cracks. They all get out barely. They're on ships and they're leaving.
Because they're we just want to leave and get out of here.
Yep.
We're just going to the next step. What's the next step? Oh, get to the next level. What's the next step? Get to the next level.
Yep.
Now they get all the way to the top. They're we're finally here. And you look out and they're well, we need a ship. What do? We got to grab a ship. And then now they're on the ship. They're well, how are we going to open up this door? Because it's not controlled by here. And they're getting attacked by other people.
Yep.
And that's where
That's when you get a call, right? Bon Clay stayed behind, turned him, because Bon Clay can change his face, turned himself into the warden and commanded them, open the door, right?
Yeah, open
and they're
the big door.
Sure, you sure? Yeah, open the door. So they did that. The real warden comes in. Bon Clay breaks the switch so it stays open, right? And the entire call is, Luffy saying, Bon Clay, why do this? Why did you do this
saved
again?
us already twice.
Yeah, because he did basically the same thing prior. He sacrificed
That's why I got
himself
into
for Luffy.
Impel Down.
Yep. So it was super. He's a real guy.
That was number 4
Dang.
for me. That was of all the scenes, just go, and thank you, arigato bonche. That's the only. That's the only one where I'll give it to the sub version. I listen to whenever there's a scene like that. I like to listen to both the sub and the dub. The sub is really solid.
It lays it on thick.
Oh yeah, just that extra oomph is just so crazy. And then The dub does a really good job too. I don't want to discount the dub here. The dub is beautiful, but yeah, the sub is really funny to hear.
But he
The emotions. But yeah, the doors open.
Yep. Transponder sail
enough.
cuts out.
Yeah. And
Don't
the
handle
big
anymore,
thing too
and
is
move
that
on.
it was long enough for then the door to be closed and for them to now travel to Marine Ford. So as they're like leaving, the door is like physically
true, it
closing
did
behind
close,
them.
yeah.
So it was a big deal. And so here's Bond Clay. And then the very very last one was like a swan never dies, right? Isn't that one of the last thing he says?
Yes.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh. So yeah, heart is just out of my chest at this point. Like, oh my gosh, you just got through Impel Down, you just got this. Luffy just got through all this, and everything's going on, and now we're traveling to Marine Ford.
Yep. Again, we have not stopped since basically Amazon Lily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been moving.
So, like you said, now leaving Impel Down, heading to Marine Ford.
Yeah.
Everything that we've been seeing since Water 7, since we met Ace in Alabasta, all the stories, everything has been accumulating, snowball downhill, all heading to Marine Ford, the crown jewel of this Summit War arc that we're on.
Yeah, and we are a little tight on time, so I think maybe let's say that for the next episode. Does that sound good, boys?
Absolutely.
Because I think it's so funny. What you're saying is it's like right when you think Oda's gonna resolve that beautiful chord, he's like, "No, Ace left. Now we're getting even more into Marine Ford." So, with that being said, this chord resolution. It's going to take us way too much. We're already at 2 hours. I think we could probably spend another 3 hours on Marine Ford alone. Battle of the Best, some may say. So,
War of the Best.
Is it War of the Best?
War of the Best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a translation there, but they always say Battle of the Best for dubbed. But
That's why dub sucks.
I wouldn't say that, but but it's so. I think we're at a good point though. So I think overall, boys, what else do you think we're talking about? Want to go over like questions? Maybe group chat things we've said in our...
Any questions you really have, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Well, so it's kind of tough. So I have seen a little bit above, right, of what's going on. But there's some crazy ones where it honestly surrounded a lot of the people Blackbeard went into. So I kind of mentioned one earlier, right? So my first question is the fact that Blackbeard recognized that fruit. I know we talked about it on One Piece 101, but there is some version of something where there's some codex that has all these fruits and whatever. Like you'd have to know what you're looking for. The fact that also, let's go back one more, peel back the onion, Sanji even was like, hey, I know that this invisible fruit exists. Like, that's wild. So, like, there is a notion of people know what fruits exist and where. And there is a notion of, by the way, they know what the fruit even looks like before someone eats it. So it's kind of this interesting, like, this kind of, like, study of fruit is wild. And the fact that even the CP9 agents, they're like, for your reward, here's your fruit. And here goes Square Nose Usopp eating the banana and becoming a giraffe. Like,
now,
it seemingly doesn't seem there's like an
I
action
don't
point.
think the CP9 crew knew what powers they were getting.
They did not.
Oh,
se.
yeah, no,
like
no
it was a
chance.
total surprise. That's why like everyone's making fun of him because he like turned to a giraffe. And you're like, how dumb is that?
Yeah, but they're like, no, I'm better. I've got a better wingspan and the power and everything.
But you have to remember the mechanisms of these devil fruits is, people in the One Piece world, they're just like here. They live to a certain point, then they die. And if you have a devil fruit and you die, your fruit essentially gets recycled back into the world. Somewhere in the world, that fruit is going to essentially at some point, and it might not be instantaneous. So we don't know that timing mechanism, but somewhere that fruit will come into existence again. And it's the exact same one. Gives you the same powers as before. It's not some variant of it. It's the same thing. So,
but it's crazy to know of that.
Correct. For people to have these codexes, to study the fruit, to know what they look like. Well, obviously, somebody at some point in the past had to gather them, draw or take a picture, whatever it was, and then somebody had to eat it and find out, which fruit it was, and then kind of scientifically figure out what powers it did. So the world government, the people that are like studying these, can catalog them and say like, hey, we had somebody who ate the rubber fruit or the gum fruit. They're like, this one's dangerous. We need to keep this one on lock and key or find other ones.
Yeah.
So it's like they value some more than others because they have that codex and knows which ones are kind of. Because even the powerful ones, it's not just that they're dangerous to them; it's that they're useful to them. Like their fleet admiral and their admirals, they're all strong devil fruit users in their own right, who have very, very strong devil fruits. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting to kind of get into that. You don't just see at the surface, oh, they study devil fruits. It's like, no, what it takes to actually do that and like have this knowledge, it takes generations.
It has to.
Like, because you don't even know about, say, the dark fruit, for instance, or like Blackbeard to know about it until the previous users like died.
Yeah,
and he has no idea when that happened, if that happened. Maybe he killed the previous user. It's like none of that's ever explained. It's just like based on the mechanisms of the world, like he could just be sitting there for years waiting for this thing to pop up. Who knows?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just crazy that he did know it.
I think he learned it being a part of Whitebeard's crew. I wouldn't be surprised if Whitebeard had some information like that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But it's just one of those things where I was like, it's just wild to think about, like the fact that there is some form of this information going around somewhere.
Well, the thing is too, you can have your ideal fruit that you want to eat, but Blackbeard, I wouldn't be shocked if he had opportunities to eat fruits prior. He waited for this fruit for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
Right? More so than this is a powerful fruit, but it's a fruit that he has to have to complete his ambitions.
He's willing to kill. He knows the implication because he's willing to kill his own crew.
Correct. And I think he even offered to buy it from him initially. Like, he wasn't...
I am not sure.
He was going to have to kill him, like, if the guy refused. But I think he did offer, hey, I'll pay you, 10 million berries for that fruit or something. The guy's like, no, this is mine.
I think he was going to eat it.
Probably because he was going to eat it, whatever. So then he made that decision. So it is very interesting that this codex of devil fruits, and it's like people now know to be on the lookout for certain ones.
Yeah, and so I guess the other kind of questions that I kind of had was actually all stemming from Sabio de Archipelago, was the fact of, one, these celestial dragons. Like, okay, they're descendants, but really, is that enough for this to go? Like, whenever you get any inkling on the world government, the marine power structures, it's so crazy to me that it just brings out all these questions. So I don't know what my exact question is, but it is a point of who are these people? How are they doing? What gets them there? Is it just a bloodline? What does that mean for the bloodline? So now are we getting into some, Harry Potter stuff where you're not gonna have Maximilian the 23rd and they're coming out with 3 eyes because they're they want to keep the purity of their bloodline going and whatever. I have no idea, but I'm just saying so. It seems ripe for it. So I'll be honest, I don't know if I want quick answers to some of these questions because I know I'm getting into a
Let me just see if I can try to frame your mind, in a certain way so I can answer this question. Are you thinking why are these celestial dragons, even though, yes, they're descendants of whatever, why do they still hold such an important position, even though they seem so laissez-faire about everything?
To actual society.
Exactly.
Why are they so protected?
We can't talk about it yet. It goes into it, so maybe we'll save it for next episode. Because there was an aspect of this already that kind of happened with Sabo.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good example of there's some form of this ruling class and lessers over here, and they're not associated with the Marines, but they do have some Marine pull. So either way, we'll talk about it in the next episode. How about that?
Sure.
But yeah, more or less that's the frame of the question of it's just these power struggles, right? Why keep these warlords around? Why? Because it's just you have the Marines, you have the warlords, you have the Emperor. Well, I guess the Emperors are against them. So let's just go. You have the Marines, you have the warlords, you have the Celestial Dragons. You got all these powers on this left side, so to speak. How does that all resolve? And what are they doing? And then you have the pirates who are kind of chaotic, but there's some structure to them because there's emperors, there's these newcomers, there's, you know what I mean? So it's just, It's just once again these power cycles, and so it's just kind of interesting to see where these power like the taxonomy of these power cycles, right? Who's linked to who's to what, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. And they're slowly but surely coming.
Yeah, it really is a spider web of connections, and as soon as you get an answer, it opens up 2 more questions. Like, well, if that happens,
He loves doing that.
Then why is this? Or it
Yeah.
recontextualizes like past interactions, and it kind of gives you more perspective onto that, or just raises the question of like, well, why the heck did he do that then?
Yeah. And I guess, so the more or less, now, I guess my last question is actually on that pirate taxonomy of, whatever power, is the fact of, imagine what Luffy has done to the point of Sabaody Archipelago. And imagine his bounty. He literally broke an Impel Down. He did all these things. He's doing everything. What on earth did Kid and Law do to get on even a close level?
Well, he
of
hasn't
Luffy?
he hasn't Impel Down yet.
Oh wait, you're also right too, because they
did
didn't want
Ennis
to
Lobbies,
release. They didn't want to release the Impel Down stuff because there's a couple other things that they didn't want to also like update his bounty because they didn't want it to be known.
You're talking about after time skip stuff.
I
You kind of moved past that.
No.
But
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I agree. But no. I will say there was a scene though. So let's not talk about that aspect of it, but let's just talk about the scene of like
Them all heading
they
into
all going in,
getting the introductions of the worst generation, and they all get their bounties
and they're
listed.
like, Kid, this, Law, that. You know what I mean? And they're saying their levels, and I'm like, what on earth? Because you guys are close to Luffy.
Yeah.
Because at this point, let's just put this, like, Luffy has done Ennis Lobby. Luffy has done, you know what I mean, like these other really big world government things. Like, what did these guys do?
Well, here's the
and
thing,
where are they
right?
coming from, right? Because this is the East Blue. Seems like Luffy had a pretty straightforward shot, didn't run into any of these guys. Like, where are they coming from? So it's a lot of questions surrounding that specifically.
Yeah.
The worst generation. I'm trying to carry.
The way I take it, at least especially for Kid, right? He's just more of what you would expect an actual pirate to be, right? Luffy, even though he's a pirate, he's mostly like he's not actually hurting any innocents, doing any pillaging.
Like Alabasta,
Yeah.
is still intact when he leaves, or like
Yeah.
outside of like where Buster Calls are getting and like Ennis Lobby's getting blown up, like Drum Island, Little Garden, these places that even if the world government doesn't know about him, but they just know he's not leaving like a wake of destruction, or a path of destruction in his wake. Whereas like somebody like Kid, who may not have the top end feats that Luffy does, or at least you don't know about, wherever he does go, it's kind of like a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a menace of society.
Yeah.
That's why
Yes.
he's kind of
Yeah.
getting it.
And
Oh,
Luffy's
okay.
real only altercation with the government is Ennis Lobbies. Everything else is more like I'm fighting other
late.
high level players, whatever. Right? He doesn't really face the government at all.
Yeah, just
until then.
like
Okay.
warlords who are an arm of the Marines and the world government. But,
Yeah.
But they care less.
It's not
about
like
that.
a direct attack. Yeah, it's still a pirate on pirate thing.
Yeah, because it was supposed to, like, it all starts with like Don Krieg, and then also Hawkeye Mihawk. There, so there's these little run-ins, and I was just kind of curious, but yeah, no worries. And really, that's all my questions. I mean, those are like the big ones, and I know there's a lot more coming up on the horizon. That it's so funny. If you would have stopped me right now, I would have had 40 more questions. But the fact that I've like seen past it, But those are my big questions as of now for the One Piece lore in general.
And I think Paul had mentioned like coming into Sabaody Archipelago, like in that first half of the Grand Line, like there's like several different paths that like essentially all branch out and then converge at Sabaody Archipelago, because that's where you have to go either
Under the red line,
above or below the red line. But all these paths, they never cross.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that. I mean, that's just kind of speaks to the vastness of like the Grand Line itself. You look at it on a map and it's just a thin strip.
Yeah.
But it's like it's littered with these islands.
Yeah, and the whole magnetic field, and you need log poses and everything. That's why I was so scared when they go on these islands. I'm like, how are they going to come together? It was this hard to get to Sabaody when they're all one crew. Now they're all individuals right now.
It's true.
What on earth's going to happen? So I'm very curious and very excited to talk about that next episode. But yeah, boys, overall, is there anything else you want to cover we missed or anything like that? I feel like these episodes are great because we kind of recap. We say our thoughts and opinions, but it's a way for us to like, honestly, if I ever want to be like, man, what's going on in One Piece? This is legit a good repository to like,
It was just a
listen
lot
to,
of info dump
you know.
we really did this episode, I would say.
But we do it every, like,
Yeah.
we've done it the Convert episode too, like, but I really like that. I mean, I prefer that. Hopefully,
That's what I prefer.
yeah, you guys are coming in and also preferring it as well, because I really enjoy the fact that we're kind of going back and talking about all this stuff, and it's just so great. It's so much fun.
And there's a lot of, again, we talked about basically the overarching parts of these main arcs. There's a lot of fine detail we didn't even touch. Just there's a lot to unpack in One Piece.
Oh
And
yeah,
I love it.
I think we're doing a good job. I mean, if you're on the street and you're like, "Hey, what is like One Piece?" I think we could collectively have gone to a good route for it.
We
But
might
yeah,
need
there
to
is-
ask him to sit down, and before we start talking. But yeah,
How many hours do you have? That'll depend on how much I explain it to
Well,
you.
the listeners can still watch it, Even if
Exactly.
they have listened and gotten all these spoilers, it's still worth the watch.
It is definitely worth the watch, and I think the other thing too, when you're passionate and knowledgeable of something, you can explain it at any level. Like we could go all the way down to minute by minute if we really wanted to. So it's good that we're sticking up here
Correct.
for the most part. But yeah, I'd love to go minute by minute, but we'd have to have our own podcast, and live, laugh, lore, subsect of
If
subsidiary.
only we were like, well, first of all, podcasts were popular, and in our 20s in 1999, we could be doing a podcast for every episode.
Yeah,
Could be at episode 1000 something right about now.
if only if.
In our 60s.
Yeah, only if. That's crazy to think about, but no, boys. Well, hey, I totally appreciate you guys sitting down and going over all this information. I'm glad we hit everything. It's so funny. We still have so much more, but we'll get that next One Piece Corner episode. But very excited, boys. This has been absolutely fantastic. And once again, I totally appreciate your time and effort on this. And if you guys want to reach out with questions and what if ideas, we definitely need some, especially for this year. If you guys are kind of curious where to reach out for those ideas, you can go to Instagram or X at the Live Left Lore Pod, or you can also email us at the Live Left Lore Pod at gmail.com. That's Live Left Lore Pod, POD, at gmail.com.
Thanks, guys.